prosecute him. Why you think you done it?
Okay, number one, Your Honor. Just look at him.
He talks like a too.
And B, we've got all this, like, evidence.
Hey everybody, today we're debating whether or not trans women are women, and we are starting right now with First Amender's opening statement. Thanks for being with us, First Amender. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, so a lot of people, when they hear the term that trans women are women, people automatically say no to this. What they are referring to is likely sex. Yes, by sex, that is in fact the case. Trans women would not be women. However, by gender, they could still be considered women. The basis of being trans has a root in biological determinism. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to share my screen for a few things. Give me one moment while I share that. Hang tight.
There you go.
Okay, so you can see here is a brain, sex, and transgender women is shifted towards their gender identity. Transgender people report discomfort with their birth sex as a strong identification with the opposite sex. Current studies shed further light into the question as to whether or not brains of transgender people resemble their birth sex or their gender identity. For this purpose, we analyzed the sample of 24 cisgendered women, 24 cisgendered women, 24 transgender women before gender-affirming hormone therapy. We employed a recently developed multivariate classifier that yields a continuous probabilistic rather than binary estimate for brains from male to female. The brains of the transgender women ranged between cisgendered men and cisgendered women, albeit still closer to cisgendered men, and that the differences both through cisgendered men to cisgendered women were significant. These findings add support to the notion that the underlying brain anatomy in transgender people has shifted away from their biological sex towards their gender identity. There's another paper here, a sex difference in the hypothalamic uncinate nucleus relationship to gender identity. You can simply ask a person whether or not they are transgender. When we actually analyze their brains through an MRI scanning, they have physical portions of the brain that are differently sized in comparison to cisgendered counterparts prior to there being a hormone replacement therapy. Same thing here, the neuroanatomy of the transgender identity, mega-analytic findings for the Enigma Transgender Persons Working Group. This was another instance where it was a mega-analytic approach using MRI data of 803 non-hormonally treated trans people. And they again found differences in the subcortical brain volumes of the surface area of the brain. And here is the sexual differentiation of the human brain in relation to gender identity and gender orientation. When you're an embryo, there are two separate distinct developmental processes that are they are generally the same, but they can also be quite different. When you're an embryo, you basically start off with the brain development, and it either goes towards male or towards female. Yes, there do exist actual differences in the brain, as well as the brain chemistry of male or female. And typically, the genitals that you get, that happens later on. Usually, they tend to be the same. The development of the brain, as well as the gonads, they end up being the same thing. But because that these are two separate and distinct biological processes, and the fact that the presence of testosterone allows it to become more of a male brain, otherwise it maintains a female brain. It actually has nothing to do with estrogen, by the way, in the development of the embryo. It is possible for there to be this differentiation. Therefore, they grow up with a female brain when they have, in fact, could have male gonads. Or they can have a male brain and female gonads. So what do we do about this kind of phenomenon? Well, what we do is we refer to their gender, as in what they identify as, to what their sex is assigned at birth. And when there is that differentiation, we refer to them as transgender. So the question becomes, how we exactly determine somebody to be man or woman. Well, typically what we do is that we actually don't use chromosomes, and we don't use genitalia either. When you're walking down the street and you look at a woman, what you do is you just simply looked at them. You looked at them within about a half a second, and then boom, you can determine pretty quickly based off of their phenotypes that they are woman. So it is possible that you could, for example, identify someone as being female, even though that they have XY chromosomes or has a penis in that moment. It is also possible that their internal brain is more female than it is male. Therefore, trans women can be women by gender, not by sex. Ergo, trans women are women. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that opening. We're going to do a couple of quick housekeeping updates before we kick it over to Alex Stein for his opening as well. Want to let you know first, folks, I hadn't mentioned it all day. If it's your first time here at Modern Day Debate, I'm your host, Dr. James Coons. We are a neutral platform hosting debates on science, religion, and politics. And bottom right of your screen, that's an example of the debates you can expect to see here.
All right, guys. All right, let's spit this debate. We're going to keep it raw with no fake. 5 minutes on the clock. I'm going to make the stage shake. Trans women ain't a woman. That's the topic we running. I'm going to break it down quick with rhymes, and I'm summoning. It's biology, fam. That's the truth I'm spitting. Chromosomes don't lie, so y'all better start listening. XX, XY, that's the code in our cells. Females got the ovaries. Males got something else. Trans women born a dude, that's the deal from the start. Hormones and surgery don't change what's in that heart. It ain't about hate. It's just about the facts I'm dropping. Biological truth. The science ain't stopping. You can feel like a queen, rock a dress, that's cool. But DNA don't bend. It's the ultimate rule. Woman means female. That's the line we hold. Rooted in the body, not the stories we told. Now let's talk woman. Keep the meaning on lock. If it's just how you feel, then the word's out of stock. Okay? So basically what I'm saying is I've tried to put a rhyme together, and I know First Amender because I've debated him, and he's totally libtarded. He's one of the most libtarded people that I've ever debated, and that's a compliment, actually, considering how many libtarded people I've debated. So you are the best at something, being libtarded, but we're not here to debate about you. We're here to debate about how you always like to talk about how, we need studies. So what I'm going to do real quick is I want to be able to share my screen and see if you can see this study. So 10 studies or scholarly works. Do you see this? Is that what you're saying? Okay. 10 studies or scholarly works published before 2007, before the gender agenda, all that stuff. And this is J. Money, 1973, Gender Role, Gender Identity, and Sexual Orientation in Transsexualism, the Journal of Sex Research. This early work by John Money, a pioneer in sexology, discusses transsexualism and notes that while sex reassignment surgery can alter external genitalia and secondary sex characteristics, it cannot change a chromosomal sex, XY, for those assigned male at birth, or internal reproductive structures. Money emphasizes that biological sex remains male at the genetic level, so you can never change that. Green R and Money J, again, 1969, Transsexualism and Sex Reassignment, Johns Hopkins University Press, pretty strong university there. This seminal book outlines the medical and psychological aspects of sex reassignment. It states that while surgery and hormones can align physical appearance with gender identity, they do not alter the genetic or gonadal basis of sex. The authors note that XY chromosomes and male skeletal features persist, limiting full biological transformation to female. So that's pretty strong right there. Male and female skeletal features persist no matter what. So you can change the Pizza Hut to a Chinese buffet, but you're always going to know that it was a Pizza Hut by the shape of the roof, just like you're always going to know it's a boy by the shape of the hips. Now, this is great. Benjamin H. in 1966, The Transsexual Phenomenon. Harry Benjamin, a key figure in transgender medicine, describes sex reassignment procedures and their effects. He explicitly notes that biological sex defined by chromosomes and reproductive capacity cannot be changed. Wow, cannot be changed. And this is done by the Julian Press. As surgeries only modify external anatomy and hormones adjust secondary characteristics, not the underlying male biology. Wow, and that's a study. You like studies. Okay, this is from Gurin L.J. The Endocrinology of Transsexualism. That's a tongue twister, to say the least. A review and commentary, and this is a psychoneuroendocrinology. This study reviews hormonal treatments for transsexual individuals. Gurin notes while estrogen therapy induces female secondary characteristics in male to female transsexuals, it does not alter male chromosomal structure or eliminate male skeletal traits, indicating that a complete biological shift to female is not possible. Not possible. Okay, and this is Blanchard R., 1987, Gender Dysphoria, Gender Reorientation in the Clinical Management of Transsexualism, Journal of Consulting and Clinical Psychology. You love journals and you love psychology and you love schools and stuff. This paper discusses clinical approaches to transsexualism and notes that sex reassignment surgery modifies external features, but does not change the genetic or internal anatomical, that's hard to say, anatomical, how do I say that? Anatomical?
Anatominable.
It's anatomical. I think I said that. Anatomical. That's it. Basis of sex. It highlights the male to female transsexuals retain XY chromosomes and male bone structure, underscoring biological limitations. I like that. Underscoring biological limitations. There's limitations. So now this one's Persons ES, Oversee L. 1974, the transsexual syndrome in males, primary and secondary transsexualism, the American Journal of Psychotherapy. You love that. You love journals and stuff. This study examines psychological aspects of transsexualism and notes that while surgery and hormones can approximate female appearance, they cannot alter the male genetic code or reproductive capacity. The authors argue that biological sex remains male despite physical changes. Wow, that's strong right there. Now, this is from Hamburger C in 1953. I love hamburgers. Shout out McDonald's. Shout out Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump. Now, this says transvestism, hormonal, psychiatric, and surgical treatment, Journal of the American Medical Association. You love these journals and stuff. One of the earliest studies on transsexual treatment, this paper describes hormonal therapy and early sex reassignment surgeries. It explicitly states that these interventions cannot change the patient's chromosomal sex or create functional female reproductive organs as the male biological framework persists. Now, well, I don't even know if we need to get through all of them. How much time do I have left, James?
Only about 1 minute.
Well, we'll just go through one last one. Fisk NM, gender dysphoria syndrome, the conceptualization that liberalizes indications for total gender reorientation. Western Journal of Medicine. This article discusses gender dysphoria and sex reassignment. Fisk notes that while surgical and hormonal interventions can alleviate dysphoria by altering physical traits, they do not change a genetic or gonadal sex, meaning a male to female transition does not result in a biologically female body. Okay, so you, Mr. I Love Studies, I just read 9 studies that all confirm the same thing that I am debating, that yes, you can put on a dress, you can even cut off your penis. That doesn't make you a woman. That is not a vagina. That is a wound that you have to constantly dilate so that it doesn't close up on its own, because your body wants to heal itself, because it's unnatural for you to cut off your genitalia, just like it's unnatural for a person to think that you can change from a boy into a girl, or vice versa, a girl into a boy. So I'm sitting here talking to a guy that honestly believes that you can do this, and he's going to say, oh, is it sex? Is it gender? You can have feminine gender roles. That doesn't make you a woman. Your biological sex stays the same.
Quiet.
No matter what.
They can't hear you.
And that's my. Oh, shoot. Okay, can you not hear me? Oh my gosh. Your biological sex stays the same, no matter what. You cannot change that. No matter how many times you cut off your breast or cut off your penis, you cannot change your biological sex. Debate over. That's my time.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for that opening, and I'm going to do a couple of quick housekeeping things. Gentlemen, the floor is all yours for open dialogue.
Sure. So, Alex, do you acknowledge that there is a difference between sex and gender, or no?
Yes, of course I acknowledge that.
Okay, so like, did you hear in my intro when I was talking about how it that the sex doesn't change, but the gender changes, and that when I'm referring to trans women or women, I'm saying by gender, not by sex?
Let me tell you why what you're saying is just a bunch of psychobabble. As soon as you say that, we're going back to when it comes to why this is important. Because in all of those studies, it talks about the skeletal frame. And that can never change. Your biology
That's
can
also
never
not
change.
true. The skeleton is relatively the same prior to puberty, but then post-puberty
Give me
it
a
changes.
break. Do you think a male and female have the same skeletal frame?
No, they don't. What I'm referring to is that in the morphological changes that you're referring to, that happens during puberty. If someone, for example, was taking HRT and preventing puberty, such as through hormone blockers, and then deciding to take the opposite hormone, they indeed would show those skeletal structures. They would have the skeleton of a
you think
yes.
the hormone? Oh, you think the hormones work 100% and will just totally change your structure?
No,
to a
during
woman?
puberty specifically, not post-puberty.
But
If
you
you're
do think
taking the
that-
drugs
I know,
post-puberty,
but you really
I
believe
want to be
that
able to
because
have
there's
a back and forth with you. Like we can,
I
I'm
do
just
too. I
explaining
do
how
too.
it. I'm just explaining how it works, right? If you are to take prior the human body to puberty, prior to puberty, the human body is the same, male or female, save for the genitals. However, when they go through puberty, that's when you have those bone structure changes. So you can take hormone blockers and then at a certain age decide that you want to go through hormone replacement therapy. They will exhibit that bone structure of their hormone replacement. So yes, those are secondary sex characteristics which can change.
You said some of the most idiotic stuff. I don't know where to even start, but I guess the first one I have to start with, do you really believe that a male and female are identical until
No.
puberty? Well, then why did you just say that? You
Wait,
said a male
hold on.
and female are basically
Yeah,
the
like
same
they're
until puberty.
boys and girls' bodies look the same. Yes.
Oh,
They don't
really?
exhibit
Even though
any
their
of the
internal
secondary
organs are
sex
different,
characteristics.
Their organs are different, and you know it's funny that you say that because women actually go through puberty before boys.
Yes.
Yeah, but my point is the fact that you think that a boy and girl are the same even up until puberty. It just shows that you're not.
They
basing
don't
reality.
exhibit the
There's
secondary
huge
sex
differences.
characteristics.
Okay. Well, listen. Even if a person takes hormones at 6 years old, it's not guaranteed that some of their genetic characteristics are not going to poke through.
Correct.
So
The sex
reason why
doesn't change, but the gender changes.
Okay. Well, I thought we were going to have a dialogue back and forth. You know, I thought that, I let you go on your thing. Are you going to let me talk?
The gender changes.
Okay. No. This is why a trans person can never be a woman. And this is why people like you are
Let's be louder.
sickos. This is why sickos like you are letting transgender men compete in women's sports when you admit that they have a physical difference when it comes to their bodies compared to women, that they are oftentimes bigger and stronger on average than women. And you cannot change
Which you can
that,
exhibit
no matter-
different morphological changes by taking different hormones,
You
which
cannot
causes you to have
change-
those separate
you cannot
secondary sex
change your bone
characteristics.
structure. You
I'm
cannot
telling
change your
you
bone
that
structure.
if you are preventing puberty and then you decide to go on hormone replacement therapy prior to puberty,
your
then yes,
bone structure.
it does.
In
It does.
every study, I showed you 9 studies that all said you cannot change the bone structure even with hormones. It said that. It said it's impossible to change the
Post-puberty,
skeletal.
Alex.
It's impossible to change it. First of all, you can stunt puberty, but that doesn't make a boy stunted puberty a girl. He's not equal to a girl because you stunted his puberty. You're so out you're so out of touch with reality that you think that if you stunt a person's puberty at a young enough age, that they would be the same as a woman. That actually they might be less than a woman, but it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is it's still not the same. You cannot transition. You cannot have a baby. A boy cannot transition and have a baby. So you can never become a woman. What is your definition of a woman? Can you say what is a woman? The cliche. What is it, First Amender?
Please observe this paper. The development of hip bone density geometry during gender-affirming hormone therapy in transgender adolescents resembles that of the experienced gender when pubertal suspension is started in early puberty. Bone geometry can be described in terms of periosteal and endocortical growth and is partly determined by the sex steroids. Periosteal and endocortical apposition are thought to be regulated by testosterone and estrogen, respectively. Gender-affirming hormone treatment with sex steroids in transgender people might affect bone geometry. However, in adult transgender people, no change in bone geometry during GAH was observed. In this study, we investigated changes in the bone geometry among transgender adolescents using gonadotropin-releasing hormone agonists, or GnRHA and GAH, before achieving peak bone mass. Transgender adolescents treated with...
Time out, but go back, time out, first a minute. Go back to that sentence. So it says, gender-affirming hormone treatment with sex steroids in transgender people might affect bone geometry. However,
Yes.
in adult transgender people, no change in bone geometry during gender-affirming hormone was observed. So
Yes,
you
that's
lied.
correct.
So
No,
in this study,
I'm
it
not
says that there was
lying.
no change.
No.
In this study, it says,
Just
however...
stop. Alex,
it
you're
says
not
there was no
understanding the
change.
study. I've already explained to you. If you go through puberty, then the bone structure changes. If you are taking different hormones during puberty and you are suppressing what normal hormones you have, you establish that bone structure. However,
Okay,
if you've
well, how
already
about
got...
this? How
Shut
about this? I'll
up.
give you that.
Shut
I'm
up.
saying even
Alex,
if it does
shut
change
up.
your bone structure, it doesn't
Shut
change you into the
up.
opposite sex. It doesn't change your
Correct.
chromosomes.
I agree
It
with
doesn't
you.
change your chromosomes.
But
it doesn't
by,
change your chromosomes.
that's fine. Their gender is...
So you're not a woman.
Can be
You're
different.
not a woman.
Yeah, I'm referring to, you already acknowledge the difference between sex and gender. And I keep iterating it. The sex does not change, but the gender can change. And I just proved you wrong.
You could put
just
on
now.
a dress.
We know.
You didn't prove me wrong.
I did.
Every
You
study
said something that is
showed
empirically
that
false,
the
and I've
geometry
proved
of the
you wrong.
body does not change even with hormone therapy. So you cannot take pills and all of a sudden have the shape of a woman. It just doesn't happen.
If you
These transgenders wish that
pre-puberty,
was the
yes.
case. They wish.
Pre-puberty, that is the case.
Listen, you can take hormones starting from an infant, and you do not become a girl because you can never have a girl. You can never have a baby. You can never reproduce. You do not have the same sexual organs. So you are just doing woman face. Would you
You're
agree that
referring
blackface
to
is racist?
sex.
Would you?
I'm
would you
talking
agree that
about
blackface
gender.
Is racist. Okay,
You're
answer this
referring
question.
to
Is
sex.
blackface-
I'm referring to gender.
First Amendment. Is
And we both
blackface
acknowledge
racist?
the difference between
First
sex and
Amendment,
gender.
Is blackface racist?
What does this have to do with transgender people?
Can you answer the question? Is blackface
Yes,
racist?
it's racist.
Why? Why is it racist? Would you?
Because
why
you're-
does society deem it?
Because you're taking something that is typically used to mock black people, and yeah, it's bad. We shouldn't do it.
And what does a drag queen do when they dress up like a woman?
I think that they are dressing like a woman in a stereotypical
They're not mocking
way.
women, and
No.
they're not mocking women.
No,
Oh, so you don't think any drag queens are mocking women at all? You
those
don't
aren't
think
the.
so?
Yeah, do
There's-
you think
you're saying
blackface
of all the people-
and drag queens are the same thing? I'm sorry.
Yes, it is
We can
because
ha-
that's woman face.
All right,
Yes, that's
well,
mocking women.
Okay,
Yes,
I mean,
so
we
it's
have two
funny how
completely different
you're all-
ideas
you're-
as to
you're
like what's
saying-
offensive versus not offensive, right? Like we're gonna sit there and
Yeah, I think,
compare
because you
something
don't
that
think
is
it's
like
offensive for
largely
drag queen
banned.
story
Like
time
someone
for
shows.
children, and I do.
Just to
You-
be sure
you would
that
think
we
it's
don't
fine.
have too much
This
You would
has-
think
over
it's
each
fine.
other.
This has
to
absolutely
do
nothing
that.
You
to
would
do
think
with
it's
the
fine
discussion.
for drag queens to read books to children.
This also
So that's-
has
yeah, and I
nothing to
would
do
think
with the
that's not
discussion
cool.
either. The
It
question
does have
is
something to
not
do because that
talking
is your
about.
personal ethos. You think that's cool.
The question is not
One
whether or
sec.
not Drag Queen Story Hour is like a justifiable thing. I have no idea why you're even bringing that up. I'm simply pointing out that the way that you determine somebody to be a woman ultimately is going to come down to not you doing a blood test, not you analyzing their gonads. You're just going to kind of look at them, right? And you're going to determine
No.
whether or not they are male or
No.
female within a, you
No.
don't really?
Okay, that-
You
How
don't
about
do
this?
that?
How about this? How about this?
How do you
Answer this
determine
topic.
somebody to be a woman? Someone's walking
Wow,
down.
okay.
Hold on. No,
This is
stop,
how-
Alex.
This is
Alex.
how. I'll answer the question. I'll answer
Yes.
the question. This is how. This is
What do
how.
you do?
And this is the analogy I want to use. This is the analogy that I want to use, and I'll answer
Yep.
that question. If you are in Miami Beach, Florida, and you're on the beach and you meet a nice lady, meet a nice lady, you buy her a drink, and you kiss her at the bar. Then you find out later that lady was born a boy.
I have no idea what this story is. I'm asking a simple question. How do you determine somebody to be a woman? Alex Stein.
What I'm saying is you can't determine it by looking at a person.
Wow,
Because you
let's
could be
try
at a
again.
bar with a
Someone is
Filipina
walking
lady
down
boy that
the
looks like a
street.
girl, and then you think it's a girl, and you're making out with some girl, and it's a boy. So you can't tell.
can't answer
by just
the question.
Looking at him that's the answer. Is that you can't just look at a person and tell. Because
You
there's
can
people that
never
get tricked
tell.
all the time.
You can never, you're walking down the street, right? You can't tell if they're a male or a female? Seriously?
Some of these people you can't, like Blair White.
When I look at a person like Blair White, or I look at a trans person that passes, I just assume that they're a woman.
Okay, but how about this?
Don't you do that too? Do you treat men and women differently?
I'm skeptical because I travel a lot of places and there's a lot of weird people doing
So
women things.
I just want to be clear, right? Every single person you meet, you have no idea that they are a man or a woman. You use they them pronouns for
skeptical.
every single person you meet.
No, I don't use correct pronouns. So I don't.
Wait. Then what pronoun do you use? What pronoun would you use? Why?
Whatever pronouns I feel like, and sometimes I say
Wait,
guys.
why?
when I'm talking to
Why?
girls. There'll be a group of girls. I say, "What's up, guys?
Wait,
hey, when are you guys coming?"
so
on the
you say,
podcast?"
"What's up,
I say that to
guys?"
women all the time. To women, but that doesn't make them a boy. That doesn't
Okay,
make
but
them a
I'm just
boy if I
saying.
say, "Hey, when are you guys coming on my podcast?"
I'm just saying you're
That doesn't mean
using
you're
a
boy.
pronoun. You're
No, I'm
using
saying
a pronoun
I'm
based
using your
on
argument
looking at
against
them.
You think social construct decides whether you're a boy or girl or not? No,
I'm
what decides
talking
whether you're a boy or
about
girl
whether or not
is your
trans women
genitalia.
are women. And by
They're
gender,
not.
they
They're
can
not
be
women.
woman. 100%. Yes.
No, they cannot be a woman.
I've
No.
shown
Okay, how about
you
this?
the
Answer this
neurological
hypothetical.
link
Do you
between
mind to
of
answer this
transgender people in
hypothetical?
One
comparison
sec.
to
I hate to do
cisgender
this, you
people.
guys. We have to break this up. We do have to break it into 1 minute intervals. I've given you a lot of time to try to work this out, but we're going to go with First Amender for 60 seconds, and then we'll kick it back over to you, Alex, for 60 seconds, and we'll just keep alternating. First Amender, the floor is ours, and you guys don't interrupt each other.
I'd
Don't
like
even
to
think
ask him
about
some
it.
questions. I think you're being dishonest to yourself as well as the audience by saying that you don't determine someone to be male or female by looking at them. That's literally what every single human being does on Earth, right? And we don't operate with this bizarre level of skepticism.
Not in a gay bar.
We just
Not in a gay bar.
we don't operate on this like bizarre level of skepticism when it comes to this. We do this all the time. Any regular person does this. It is possible for a trans person to pass. We would just assume that they are a woman. By sex, you're correct, is not changed. They are still, if you're looking at a trans woman, by sex, they are still male. However,
Boom, debate one.
by gender, that is not
Debate
the case. You are observing
over.
them as female. You describe them as
Okay.
female. You would use she, her
okay.
pronouns because you wouldn't be so skeptical to every single person you meet.
Okay, how about this? I'll even concede, yes, if sometimes I see somebody, I guess people's pronouns sometimes, but you can be wrong. Would you concede that you can be wrong?
Sure.
So I agree that people
Yeah, you can be wrong, sure.
So with that logic, how much responsibility does a trans person have to tell another person that they're dating that they were born the opposite sex?
I am more than willing to entertain what you are saying, but what I need here is I need a concession. Trans women can be women by gender. Yes?
No, because
You are contradicting yourself.
no, because you can put on a dress that doesn't make you a woman. You can
Again,
do all the woman face
I've
you want, it
already
doesn't make
shown
a
you
woman.
that
Doesn't
this
make
can
you a woman.
exhibit itself a difference in the neurological brain chemistry that would be different from their gonads. So I am referring to the gender, not the sex. Can trans women be women by gender, not sex?
No, but it's funny because I
Why?
like this real quick. I'll tell you why. I'll answer that right now. You're talking about how through medicine, through the application of medicine, you can change a person's gender.
I need you to answer my question.
Real quick. You trust the medical industry with the ability to do that, but can they cure cancer? Can they cure diabetes?
What does this have to anything to do? Why are you dodging my question?
What I'm saying.
Answer my
If
question.
they can't cure cancer, they can't turn a girl into a boy.
Why can transgender women not be women by gender? I'm referring to gender, not sex.
I don't
Can
even know this double
transgender
negative
women
question
be
either.
women by gender? Answer the question.
No.
Why?
No. Because a trans person can never be a woman. You're always
By
trans.
sex.
You're always in that.
I'm referring to gender.
No, even gender roles, even gender,
Okay.
even socially.
Why?
You're
How?
always in because if you sleep with a person and you don't tell them that you're a transgender, that should be a crime and you should go to jail. Because a tiger can't change its stripes. Doesn't matter how much they
This doesn't exist. This
socially
doesn't
engineer
explain why.
themselves.
You're just saying I get upset when, I don't know, I'm going to be dating somebody. And by the way, I'm not even saying like you have to date a transgender person. This has nothing to do with the question.
What I'm
why
saying
is it
is
that
that
trans
the
women
transgender
cannot be
person
women? Shut
has an
up. Shut
obligation.
up.
No, you
Why
shut up,
is it that
Bender. You're not sitting here
transgender
telling me to
women
shut up.
can't
You're an
be women
idiot,
by
dude.
gender?
You're literally sitting here
Just
and you're trying
answer
to repeat
the
yourself,
question.
and you know that you're too stupid and you actually think that a girl can be a boy. So
Answer
you're the
the
idiot.
question.
You're the retard, okay? No, I'm not going to answer your dumbass question
You're
because you're too
crashing
stupid to
out
understand
to a
my
person
answer.
that
I'm not
has
crashing
barely
out.
any subscribers.
All right,
I have no
one
idea
I
why
know
you're
because
freaking
you're
out.
a loser. I'm not crashing
I
out.
don't
I think
care.
You think it's
One
funny. I'm the
second.
world's
I
greatest debater.
don't care.
You're a loser with
this-
nobody
you're not
watching
debating
you
right
because you're
now.
unentertaining.
One
I am
second.
debating.
I
I'm crushing
appreciate
you, and I just even
You're
saw the
literally
studies
crashing
that all
out in front of
prove-
everybody.
No,
I don't
I'm
care.
not. I'm the crash
So,
out king.
going
I'm
out-
I'm 99 Alex Stein. What do you
Guys,
think? I mean,
I
dude,
haven't
what do you
even
think
gotten
this
to poop
is?
yet today. I need you to relax for me. We're gonna make this. We're gonna make it. And I do want to kick it over to Alex this time for 60 seconds, and then we'll kick it back over to First Amender for 60 seconds. So we're just doing the opposite of what we did last time. So go ahead, Alex.
Well, First Amender, I don't have any questions because I just want to be able to talk for a minute because you won't shut up. It's so annoying debating you. Now I realize why it's so annoying to debate you because you're very thick-headed. The concept that I'm trying to debate about here today is that you can change the color of your hair. And you know, you can be a redhead. You can change exterior things. But genetically, you cannot change into the opposite sex. It's impossible. I cited 10 studies. You even admit this. So listen, you can pretend to try to patronize somebody by calling them the right pronouns when you know obviously that they're a boy in woman face. That doesn't actually make them a woman. So I don't care when you take hormones at what age. You're not going to magically grow a penis if a little girl starts taking testosterone. And you are so deluded that you do think that that's possible, that you think that a little girl can take testosterone and all of a sudden she's going to have the frame of Macho Man Randy Savage because you are a retard. And debating a retard like you is you're right. Like you just said,
That's
it's not
fine.
worth my time.
We'll kick it over to First Amender for 60 seconds.
All right. I like the open antagonism, calling me an R slur. That's fun. Anyway, getting back into the topic, I never said that they can't change their primary sex characteristics, as in their genitals, unless if they are going for a sex change. You're correct. They can't change those things. Fine. However, you can in fact change your secondary sex characteristics with hormone replacement therapy. That's empirically the case. There are people when you look at them, they look male, but they may have been born female. This happens, right? I'll go ahead and just show you an example, just so you can see that, like, I'm not crazy in presenting you a person who would be, we would assume a person to be male. So take a look at this, for example. By all intents and purposes, as far as you're aware, that's a male, right? We would just look at this and say male.
You can tell that's a trans person. You can tell that person's trans.
I'm aware, but do you honestly believe that you would see this person?
The scars on
I'm
their
aware.
chest. You see how big those scars are on their chest?
Yes, they had a mastectomy.
I would say, look at those.
But
yeah,
Alex
look at those huge
Stein,
scars.
Alex
So that
Stein,
is
if this
that is a
person
trans
was
person.
walking down the street, do you honestly believe that you would clock this person as being female?
Yes. Yes.
I think you're crazy. I think you're in deluded world.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, I've been called worse. I've been called.
Yeah, I think that's
way
just
worse.
deluded. Like
But
anybody,
I'm deluded, but you're the one that
anybody
doesn't
who's going to be
understand
even
logic, simple logic.
minorly honest with themselves and not just be a grifter, like be an actual person.
Well,
an
I'm
actual
the one
human
that
being.
doesn't understand honesty.
Be
yet
an
you
actual
are,
human
I'm the
being.
one
Shut
that doesn't
up.
understand honesty.
Anybody
Quit
who's
telling
a
me to shut up.
regular
Wait,
person
I
would
know,
be
but
able
if
to
you're talking about
acknowledge that that's
if
a
you were
man.
being honest with
Very
a person,
simple.
if you're being honest with a person, you would say that you're born a boy and you can't change into a girl. You're the one that's being delusional
By sex,
trying
not
to
by
enable
gender.
people that
We're gonna
that
go
have gender
into
dysphoria. That these
60
people have a mental
seconds.
health disorder. If you had anorexia or bulimia, you wouldn't tell a person to continue throwing up. You wouldn't tell an anorexic person to continue to not eat. You would actually prescribe the opposite of what they're doing, which is the same thing we should do with trans people. We shouldn't enable their gender dysphoria by cutting off their genitalia. That doesn't even make sense, especially in young people, because we have rules in every single state in this country that kids under a certain age can't smoke cigarettes, they can't enter into contracts, they can't join the military, they can't own a firearm. They shouldn't be able to cut off their genitalia if they cannot get a tattoo without parental consent. So I'm telling you
I
that
don't know
I'm
what
just
that has
trying to have
anything
a
to do with the
logical
debate.
debate. It has everything to do with the debate because you're in Looney
The question
Tunes
is
land
whether or not
where
that
you think
trans
that-
women can be women, can trans men be men? We can.
No.
Yes.
The debate is
well,
over.
by
No.
gender, yes, they can.
James, this is okay. Listen, we're just going in circles, James. Let's just get to the questions because it's just pointless.
Yeah, he can't answer any of my questions. I agree. We have to go to regular Q&A because obviously he's not going to engage.
I've engaged this whole time. First Amendment, you're too stupid to understand what I'm saying.
Your
That's the
entire
problem. That's why I don't
argument
wanna
has
waste
been
my time
ad
with
homs
this.
and bringing up non sequiturs.
The only reason I've had to attack you is because you've been such an annoying opponent. You have no grace. You have nothing, dude. Go watch somebody that actually knows how to debate.
You're the
You
one
suck
that's
at it.
crashing out, not me.
Dude, this is my personality.
You literally
I'm the
called
pimp on a
yourself the
blimp.
crash out king, and
I
I'm the
crash out all
guy
the time. Have you
who's
ever
like
seen me at city
not
council?
a good debater. Okay.
You're not a good
This is a good
debater. That's why you have
opportunity.
no following. You're not.
We're
Yeah,
gonna jump
being a joke
into-
doesn't make you a comedian. Anyway,
We're gonna jump
Okay,
into.
and being a bald loser, what does that make you? What does that make you?
I'm not bald.
Okay, well,
We're
your
gonna
hairline's
jump into-
receding and it's thinning. And listen,
We're gonna
it doesn't
jump
even
into-
That's
matter.
okay.
The
All
shape
right,
of your
gentlemen.
forehead is
We
so
are right.
disgusting.
Everyone-
Makes
Gotta
me
gotta
sick.
put somewhere to fit
Ill.
my brain.
Bro.
Yeah, right. You have no
Man,
brain.
First
You're a
Amendment-
loser with a capital L. Biggest loser I've ever debated.
First
The lowest
Amender-
human I've ever debated.
First Amender, you have a way of triggering people like it's nobody's business. There's something about First Amender. Every time he comes on, it boils down to this where
Just
It's because
boils
he's
down
not a
into
good
stupid
debater.
insults.
He
Because
doesn't-
the only way
No,
that
he
these
doesn't-
right wingers can
No,
even
because
have a debate.
You don't want to either.
The only
you don't
way
either
that
want
these
to
right-
agree and move on to another
No.
subject.
The
You
only-
just want to keep on doing the same thing over and over, and it's annoying. That's
No,
why nobody wants to watch your content.
what I did
Your
is
content sucks.
I stuck on topic, and then you brought up non sequiturs
I've been on topic the
over
whole
and
entire
over,
time.
instead of actually questioning whether or not trans
Wait,
women
hold
can
on.
be women by
Okay.
gender.
Okay,
we
I
actually have
can't do
You
this.
even
James,
contradicted
James,
yourself
let's
halfway
get to the
through.
question. I've never contradicted myself.
You
other
did.
than- Okay, how about this? I'll even concede, yes, if sometimes I see somebody, I guess people's pronouns sometimes.
That's
The fact
debate.
that I wasted my time, I shouldn't have
Guys.
wasted my time with a loser as big as you. You make me sick. I'm ill looking at
Listen,
the screen,
you're-
looking at
Hey
you.
man, you're the one
probably
that
a
signed up for
virgin.
this debate,
Yeah.
so
You
you know I
like
guess
I
you
know,
want to
and I
debate with a
shouldn't have because
loser.
I was doing a favor to Jay.
guys
I know because I
relax.
look at you and I see a
Just
man that
relax.
will never have the touch
Relax.
of a woman because you're obviously
Relax.
a virgin loser and you'll never be in a
Relax.
loving relationship because you're so out of touch with reality.
This
Are you
has
in a
nothing to
relationship?
do with the debate.
Yeah.
This is
Have
just
you ever
ad
had a
hominem.
relationship, First Amender?
First
Have you ever
Amender
had a
Yes.
doesn't
girlfriend?
even
Yes.
like women,
Plenty.
so the joke's on you.
Yeah, are you in
Alex.
are you in a
All right.
relationship right now, First Amender?
No.
What did you? Yeah, exactly. You're a loser alone by yourself.
don't
You're supposed
care.
to be alone by yourself.
I don't know what
Guys
this
are
argument is. This is not an
Chill
argument.
out.
You're just a lonely loser sitting at your
No,
computer.
he's not lonely. He's
begging
having a
for
good day,
begging
a good
for
time.
begging for clout from
All right.
Primetime 99 Alex Stein. Here's a little clout. Here's a
Guys.
little bit, First Amender.
All right,
I
I
hope
hate
you
to do
get some
this. I have to
viewership.
mute you guys because you guys are just so okay. Wait, take a deep breath. What have I done? What you guys? Okay, first of all,
He's losing to the
First
beta soy
Amender,
boy.
I
He's just
appreciate-
crashing out. I mean, I don't know what.
I appreciate.
I mean, this is
that.
funny. You're sitting there eating peanuts like a little bitch, dude. So I don't even give a damn what you say. You
Yeah,
can say
because
crash out
I can.
good.
I
Yeah, I crashed out like 9/11, and I was a terrorist that beat the United States military. All right, I'm like Osama bin Laden. I just
You
freaking
guys-
bombed your ass. Okay, yeah, that's why I'm the
Ooh.
Taliban. All right, dude.
Wait,
All right,
So,
cool.
you know.
All right, guys.
bomb
Alex
it.
Stein's
You're
the
gonna wish
Taliban.
you had a shoe
to-
bomb. You're gonna wish you had a
Alright,
shoe bomb.
Listen.
All right, he's
You have
arguing to put a
relax.
shoe bomb.
Relax. I need you to relax. Everything is cool. Both of you guys relax.
It's hard to
Everything is
debate a guy that likes to put nuts in his mouth like that on a debate like this. A guy's
These are
just
jelly beans.
licking on nuts during the
jelly
whatever. They look
beans.
like nuts. Yeah, they're nut flavored because I know you
Yeah.
like probably
Yeah.
love that saltiness.
They're actually
Herb.
they're flavored Republican tears. I mean,
Why are you
love
eating
your-
jelly beans? Are you a
Republican
2-year-old?
tears.
Why are you eating jelly beans right now at night like that? I mean,
Because
what-
I can
dude, what
beat
kind
you
of
in a
diet
debate
are
with
you?
one hand.
First of all, you didn't win this
Wow.
debate. You're sitting there eating
Yeah, I mean,
jelly
you
beans.
contradicted
like-
yourself, and you
like
won't
a
even
mentally
engage,
retarded
and instead
leprechaun.
have to go
You
straight
admit it.
into ad hominem
You already
instead of
admitted,
actually
you
arguing
already
the position.
admitted that a trans person can't change their sex, so they shouldn't be able to compete
Hold
against a woman.
I
in
never said
sports.
anything
So I already
regarding
won
their
the debate.
sex. I said that
Yeah,
you're
well, they
right.
can't
That
change
stays
that.
the same,
They
but
can't
I'm
change
referring
that.
to
So you
gender,
admitted that.
and
So you lost
you
the
just
debate.
don't want to engage in the
lost the
gender
debate.
part.
You guys are going to be the best of friends after this.
No, not with this loser.
This one, oh, we have, thanks for your super chats. We had a couple just come in right now. And folks, I'm telling you, you think I'm joking. If we don't hit our goal of $1,000 during the stream, I will take off my shirt and I will just sit here bare chested and you'll have to look at me. I'll look all sickly. You don't want that. I'll look more sick than First Amender. Okay, no offense,
Yeah,
First
impossible.
Amender.
Why do I look
Impossible
sick?
challenge.
You don't look sick, okay?
You look gray. You look gray. You look like a piece
It's
of
an-
meat.
it's
that's
an
been sitting on a
automated,
counter for hours.
The Logitech
No, Stop.
does that. I'm actually
No,
a
but
lot
the
more
whites
tan
of your
than it looks.
eyes are even gray. I mean, there's nothing. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
like
just,
I
you
said,
just
it's a
look
cheap
like,
Logitech mic. I mean, or camera. So I got to upgrade the camera. It is what it is.
You guys both have beautiful complexions.
Real quick, shout out Jaronism for figuring out the Earth is a globe, and he said $7. What's next? Fighting a balding midget with multiple sclerosis. Do you have multiple sclerosis, First Amender?
I'm 5'11" for starters, and no, I don't have any negative health
What do you have?
issues.
Sickle cell anemia? What do you have? AIDS?
No,
Which autoimmune disease do you have?
none.
I doubt that. I'd like to see your.
He's gonna conquer
chart.
them all. Now,
I mean, again,
do
I
want-
wish he would actually
Send me
stick
your
on
chart.
topic
Send me your
and, like,
chart. I'll
actually
believe that you
discuss
don't have an
something instead of
autoimmune disease.
stupid
Once you-
ad homs.
Send your chart. Send the chart. I can go over it.
All right, I'll send you my
the chart.
medical record so you stop being like a dick, like for money, I guess.
Listen, First Amender is not sick, okay? Now,
He just looks.
I-
You said earlier in the debate, you specifically said yourself that he looked sick. That was your exact word and verbiage.
Yep, not an argument.
only because First Amender,
Still not an argument. Still an ad hom. Nothing
he
to do with
literally
the argument.
just said that you looked
Hold on.
sick, and then now
Hold
he's trying to
on.
say you're not sick. You go with your gut, James. Does he look sick or not? He looks sick as hell. He's eating the guy's only been eating jelly beans. I mean, he's like a gremlin, dude. He
no,
eats
no,
candy
stop.
like
He's
a
not.
troll.
He's a handsome man. Now, the idea is First Amender-
Handsome, yeah,
But-
handsome.
Gosh, First Amender, it's because I look pale. I look even more pale than you, First Amender. But even if you're close to me, then I start to wonder if people are sick like me. So, no offense, but wait until you see how pale I am when
Again,
I
it
take my
has to
shirt
do
off.
with the contrast of this. Windows did an update that causes this specific Logitech to blue screen computers. And so I just basically now just have the Windows driver. And so it's doing like an automated contrast shifting. You see how if like I put my my hand in front of it, it suddenly shifts the coloring. I can no longer control it. And so this isn't even what my color looks like. I look a lot more toned.
You know what I
Yeah,
want you
real
to do?
tone. I love how you look literally like a walking corpse, and you want to blame Logitech, one of the
No,
best
that's
not
hardware
true.
Why don't
companies,
you
one
like
of the best
argue
webcam
the actual
companies.
position instead of like talking about the contrast of my camera
What I
Okay,
want to do
okay.
is this.
or insults
I
or
want
some
to do
stupid
this.
nonsense?
Now,
There's
First
no
Amendment.
there's no need to make fun of the way I look. You need to be able to actually argue the position, and if you can't,
I
argue
like The
position,
Walking Dead.
you've
I'm
lost
not even
this
making fun
debate.
of you. I like the show The Walking Dead. I like that show.
All right.
I thought it was good.
Wait, stop. All right. Dylan, thanks for your super chat. Just came in. All right. So we got some questions coming in, but I do want to do a couple things. First Amender, if you want, I mean, would you be so kind? Can you use that background that you were originally going to use with Andrew Wilson, and then Andrew was like, "Oh, my eyes."
Sick.
Ugh."
All right, hold on. Let me go get it.
I want the world to see that. Do you have any like final threads you'd like to draw together from this debate before we go into the Q&A shortly?
Well, I guess I'll say this. He went first. I just feel like it's very frustrating, to say the least, that First Amender and I, and even when I want to concede on things to try to come to a much larger agreement, he sits there and he wants to harp on this gender and sex argument that a lot of people try to use in these debates, when in reality, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your gender roles. A man can have all the stereotypical gender roles of a female. It doesn't make that person a woman. And
By sex,
these people are delusional.
but not by gender.
And that's why it's frustrating, because I'm debating people with no followers and will never gain any followers because they have no charisma and no logic. So this is a waste of my time. This is a waste of my time. And I'm debating people with no logic, and I'm debating mentally retarded people. And I'm mentally retarded. So that says a lot.
Now, thank you
I
for
can tell.
that. Those enlightening words. We are going to kick it over to First Amender. We're going to give him a chance to kind of any like points that you want to examine, though, any questions that you wanted to pose to Alex. And I'm going to you guys have to forgive me. I have to use the restroom. I have to pee really quick. So behave while I'm gone. Okay,
Oh,
please?
gosh, this is going to get wild.
Don't go crazy now.
So he acknowledged the difference between gender and sex. And if he is willing to acknowledge the difference between gender and sex, then we can refer to the gender as to whether or not that they are man or woman. The question prompt is not, are trans women by sex? No, they would not be by sex. By gender, they are, however. So if we can say that trans women are women by gender, acknowledging the difference, the way that you determine somebody to be male or female is not by looking at their chromosomes. It's not by looking at their genitals. You just simply look at them and determine whether or not that they are man or woman. Ergo, it is possible for
That's
a
not how
person
you
to
determine
pass.
if it's a man or woman. It's a blood test with an XX chromosome or an XY chromosome. That's how you determine
Last
if it's
time
a
I
man
checked,
or woman.
you probably aren't
blood
walking
test.
down like the street and like going
It
up
doesn't
to a
matter about
random
walking
person
down the street.
and then
It
like taking
matters-
a blood
It
test
doesn't matter
for every
about
person
walking
you
down
meet
the
so you can
street.
determine their
In
sex.
order to
You
find
look at
out,
them.
that's why in the Olympics
You
they
look
make
at
them
them,
take
silly.
a blood test, like Lin Tan Wing or whatever, with their transgender winning the gold medal. They give them a blood test to see if they're the right chromosomes. So that's how they determine at the Olympics. That's how a governing body
again,
would determine
by sex, it doesn't
with a blood
change.
test. No, it does change because they determine it with a blood test based on biology, because it doesn't matter. It's not
Sex can
you don't become a
change?
woman based on gender.
No.
You become a woman based on biology.
Sex doesn't
yes, it's a
change.
biological factor.
The
So
primary
it doesn't
sex
matter what gender roles
characteristics
you
do
have.
not change.
Doesn't matter
The
what
secondary
gender
sex
roles you have.
characteristics can
Your
change, however.
biological sex cannot change. So you cannot become a woman.
That's
You
great
will
because
always
that's not
be
my argument.
a
My argument
trans
is by gender,
gay
not by
weirdo.
sex. Right? And so you are
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You cannot become that. It doesn't. You trying to say that you
I
admit
really wish
that
you
it
would just
cannot
rewatch this
become a
debate
bi-
and you can see that you actually did contradict
the
yourself
clips,
halfway
the
through.
clips are going to go viral.
Oh, it's going
not
to be
even about the
amazing. I'm going to love it.
contradiction.
I'm going to love it.
Okay, how about this? I'll even concede, yes, if sometimes I see somebody, I guess people's pronouns sometimes. Yeah, because you're finally going to get some views for the first time in your life. Yeah, you wish.
I love eating Republican tears because they can't actually make any arguments. Ultimately,
You
they just
gotta
have
be
to do
kidding
ad
me.
homs and silly arguments, and they don't actually argue on the basis of facts and reason. They argue on the
You're
basis
the one
of
that
just
doesn't understand
nonsense.
facts and reason, First Amendment. You're the
Gentlemen.
one that doesn't understand facts and reason.
I've shown
you
you
think
the
that if you you give a baby
neuroendocrinological
hormones
findings.
that
I
a
never
girl
made
will
an
grow into a
implied
boy.
an implication
you
that by
literally
sex they can
said,
change.
you
Gentlemen.
literally
The
said
sex
that if a
gentlemen.
baby gets hormones, they will have this
say
skeletal
anything
structure
about
of
a
a
baby.
man. When every study said that you cannot change skeletal structure,
I
skeletal
literally
structure.
proved you wrong in a single study.
No, you did. I proved you wrong. I proved you
Their
wrong.
sex
Because-
doesn't
Wait, hold
change,
on.
numpty.
Exactly.
What are you
So
guys
I
doing?
wanted to-
Goodness.
Hold
Let's
on.
just go.
We're
Let's
gonna
just
put
go
up-
into the questions,
Hold on.
James.
Yeah,
because
he
this
can't
really,
handle
this
it.
guy is
He
just-
can't handle
on.
it. He just crashes
No,
out.
I don't. I have better things
Can't
to
argue
do
the
right
position.
now than debate a twink like you. I mean, it's just a waste of my
Dude,
time.
don't
It's
threaten
just
me with a
sad
good
waste of my
time. What the heck? Call me a
Wow.
twink?
Okay, listen.
I'm going to put a poll in the live chat. Folks, if you want to like vote on who you found most persuasive during this debate, you can. We're going to start reading questions for the Q&A. And First Amender, I want to give you the last word because it's been pretty I know that I've made fun of you and Alex has obviously made fun of you a lot. So we do want to give you the last word.
Yep.
It's all in love. That's my love language is teasing. But Alex, go ahead. 30 seconds. Make fun of First Amender one last time.
First Amender is the worst debater I've ever seen, and he has no future, and he will always be alone. And as a matter of fact, as the older he gets, the more lonely that he will get, and he will realize that this computer, thinking that it's connecting him to an outside world, but it's actually just disconnecting him from the real world in which he lives in. And every moment that he looks into a computer screen, he
I can't hear
disconnects.
you. Your insults.
Every
are not
moment
being
that he
heard.
looks at a computer screen, he disconnects from a bright future that he could have had with a woman because he's a homosexual that will never have any joy in his life. And a boy can't become a girl. Debate over.
Was that one of your jokes?
Amender?
Wow, that was really funny. The idea of being transgender has its roots in biology. Studies show that the brains of trans women resemble those of cisgendered women more so than cisgendered men. For example, there's research that has been published in the Neuroimage of the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism that highlights clear neuroanatomical differences in trans women that align more closely with their gender identity than their assigned sex at birth. During fetal development, the brain and the gonads develop separately. That means it is entirely possible for someone to be born with male sex characteristics, but have a brain that developed along a more female typical way. When we identify somebody as being a man or a woman, we almost never run a chromosome test or check their genitals. We just use cues like voice,
You do
their
in the
behavior.
Olympics.
Shut
You do in the
Hold on,
Olympics.
up.
You
we
do
have
in
to give him- We
sports.
have to give him a chance to do his closing.
But you do in the Olympics.
I have to interrupt.
When we identify somebody as being a man or a woman, we almost never run a chromosome test or check their genitals. We just goes off like cues like voice, behavior, and their appearance. That means our everyday understanding of gender is socially and cognitively driven, not strictly biological. So when a trans woman looks, lives, and thinks like a woman, and when her brain structure may support that identity, that would be a very compelling argument that they are a woman in every socially meaningful sense of the word, not by sex, but by gender. Trans women are women.
Wow. We're going to jump into this next one, or I should say the Q&A. Folks want to say thank you so much.
James,
But I just want
yeah.
yeah.
I was trying to talk, and now I muted myself. Wait, you were just saying in that thing that biology decides. You just said that in your closing statement, First Amender.
I don't think I can
You literally-
share
that was
these
like the opening
ideas with
sentence.
you. Yeah,
That was the opening sentence.
no, the opening
of what you
sentence.
said.
The opening sentence of what I said is that the idea of being transgender has roots in biology.
Okay, that was
It
your
is
first
based
sentence.
into
That was your first
biological
sentence.
determinism.
Okay. Oh, I don't know about biological determinism,
It
but
is.
and then first of all, and then you said that the only, I guess, scale or test to decide if somebody's a boy or girl is just their social stigma around them or whatever we socially think. But that's not true, because if a person doesn't have the right chromosomes, are they allowed? If I took a blood test, am I allowed to compete against women in boxing in the Olympics? No, because they have a blood test that determines it. So there is a way to determine it when they decide this in a court of law by governing body, the Olympics. What they use to determine whether or not a person is a boy or girl is a blood test. They don't just say, "Oh, there's some social, norms that they're, displaying. So now that they're a woman." No, that's not how it works in the Olympics, because that is a governing body. And when there are rules and when stuff matters, you do a blood test. That's how they decide. So you admit that it's biological when it comes to just depending on whether or not a person is a woman or not. That was literally the first thing you said. And then you said that, oh, we just decide by, socially whether or not a person is a boy or girl. No, that's not how it works in the Olympics.
First Amender, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be looking at it in terms of sex if they want to look at chromosomal makeup. But heck, even chromosomal makeup is not even enough. There are, in fact, intersex conditions that result in very bizarre phenotypes that are very typical of that of males, yet they would be female, as in they have a vagina in all intents and purposes. One example of this is a person by the name of Castor Semenya, and I could share it right now. This person is an intersex female, but if you observe them, by all intents and purposes, they sure do look male. But what's interesting about this person is that they've actually received instead of them having ovaries, they actually have fully functional testicles where ovaries would be. They have a type of an androgen insensitivity syndrome that caused this to happen at an embryonic stage. But we will look at people like this and say whether or not that somebody like this who has, like, say, a genetic anomaly should be able to compete. I believe, like, people who have genetic anomalies, they ought to be able to compete. And I would also say that that is the same regarding transgender people in terms of their biological determinism. We allow people like, say, Shaq to compete, even though he is effectively a genetic anomaly as far as we're concerned. Almost nobody is that size. So why can't, and Castor Semenya can compete. So I don't see why a trans woman can't compete. But again, this has nothing to do with whether or not trans women are women. It's just a non sequitur.
I'm trying to look up Semena's and why Semena was allowed to compete. Besides very rare exceptions, we all have 46 chromosomes. Most commonly, hold on, I'm trying to read. Why was Castor Semenya almost banned, though? Because I'm trying to think.
Because of her hormone levels. She was extreme. She has very high testosterone for a female.
But she did have female chromosome. But she had.
I believe she has XY, but because had an androgen insensitivity syndrome, which meant that she grew up with a vagina.
Let's figure out which chromosome she has, because that does
matter.
XY.
It was XY. Like I said,
You're
a male.
Sure that she has?
Yes, I'm almost positive she's XY. But the point is that she still got a vagina because of a lack of testosterone in her body.
She shouldn't be able to compete. She shouldn't have been able to compete then.
I don't agree with that. I think that there are people. I think that there are
chromosome tests.
Hold on. I think that there are people.
Obviously, people are outlaw.
I think that there are people that are genetic anomalies that occur in competition, and we celebrate those things, not exclude them. Like I would hate to live in a world where we exclude people based on some genetic anomaly. For example, Shaq is a genetic anomaly. It would be terrible to know that Shaq would not be allowed to compete because he's a genetic anomaly. I mean, the guy's a giant compared to everybody else on the field.
Apples and oranges.
I'm just pointing out the genetic anomaly, and yeah, I believe that they should be able to compete. They can compete amongst women. They have a vagina.
You've never played a sport in your life, dude, so you don't even know.
I was a swimmer.
What it's like to actually work.
I was a pretty fast swimmer.
Of course,
he was a good swimmer, and it takes mentally.
Plays.
Swimming is one of the most mentally tough sports you can do, I hear. Now, and I'm not, that's for real, like, because you stare at the bottom of a pool and exercise.
I don't know if it's mentally tough, but I mean, there have been many moments where, like, the training was so rough that you feel like that you're drowning. Like, it was awful. I don't recommend it. It's not fun.
You got it. What we're going to do is we are going to jump into these questions. We got a good amount, so we're going to move fast.
And update. Thanks so much. We just had a $20 donation. Thanks so much for your donation. It means more than you know. We are getting closer, and I'm going to slowly start unrobing. The further this goes without us hitting the goal, I will start taking, I'm going to start with my hoodie. I'm wearing my hoodie. Who said that phrase? I'm wearing my hoodie. Jeb Bush.
I have no idea.
I'm going to take it off if that's going to be the first step. So if you see it, that's why. This one from Christopher Howard says, sometimes anger is necessary. Being able to switch gears out of it shows you have it under control. Thank you, Christopher. That was referring to me being pissed this morning, but I'm no longer pissed. Quick Lee says, the last debate was epic. Respect to both, and to you too, James. We'll stay tuned, mate. Didn't like you putting mayo on chicken, though. Thank you for that. And Quick Lee says, if trans women... so you got 3 in a row from Quickly. They also said, last one, if trans women and cis women were the same thing, we wouldn't distinguish them with different verbiage. We don't have trans French fries. We have MASH.
Yeah, I mean, again, by sex, they are different, right? The point is that their sex does not match their gender. That's what makes them transgender or across from their gender, what their typical gender would be. That's what it means.
You got it. Also, thanks so much. We just hit 965. Thanks so much. We just had an additional donation. And yeah, we are in the last stretch, folks. I mean, this crowdfund today, we're going ham, as the kids say. We're going full ham. Thank you, Timothy Cosme, for your donation. And also thank you for Todd Mackey. But yeah, I want to say we appreciate it, folks. We're going ham, as the kids say. We're going to yeet this thing. This next one coming in from, do appreciate it, Mother Holda says, First Amender, neuroplasticity would explain your first study and the power of social transitions.
The first study I posted, it was referring to the brain sex in transgender women is shifted towards their gender identity. Again, like there are morphological changes that are observed among transgender individuals using MRI scans. There are physical portions of the brain that are differently sized in comparison to their cisgendered counterparts, meaning that it does have a basis in biological determinism. It is not simply social.
You got it. This one from Mother, you got that. Quickly says, even if you can, you bloody shouldn't. I don't know if that was about transitioning or about me putting mayo on my chicken. Sunflower says, First Amender, why is everyone so easily able to distinguish prepubescent boys from girls if the only morphological difference is human genitals?
Because we dress them in clothing that matches their gender. That's what we do. We do it all, or typically their sex. That's typically what happens. Sometimes that's not the case. There are certain transgender individuals where they don't feel that way. And so they will have, say, long hair or wear girly clothing. And then boom, you will not be able to tell the difference as to whether or not they're male or female in that moment.
Wow. Okay. This one from Pepe in a blue suit says, I think the more concerning thing is that First Amender. By the way, I want to clear the air because my First Amender said, hey, come on, James, can you ask him to not slander me? And that's fair. We're not going to call him first offender anymore. He's never offended anyone sexually. He's never offended anyone, period. He's just a strong advocate for his position. And so we are retiring the name First Offender. We're also retiring the name First Diddler. He's not a pervert. They said, I think the more concerning. I can't believe I have to say that. But
the chat loves it. They really like that First Offender and the First Diddler. They're like,
they do. I'm taking away their toy but I've got to tell you, folks, we want to say, I know that First Amender, and yeah, sometimes I say it on accident.
Yeah, you want to say offender because he looks like an offender. I'm not saying you are one, but you look like every characteristic.
No,
I know, but
he doesn't. Listen.
Yeah, like you know how you say a guy can just look like a girl, and then he's a girl. No. Like I know you're not actually a sex offender, but you look like so much like one. You appear to be a sex offender, but I know you're not one. But you just have all the characteristics and attributes of a sex offender.
First Amender, first of all, we love you. We're glad you're here. Don't listen to Alex. He's just trying to be difficult. The thing I laugh about.
I'm being honest, but
I was just pretending not an argument again, as always.
I just laugh because First Amender, I have to give you credit. You're so poised. You're so just like emotionally calm as Alex is calling you, saying that you look like this and you look like, and you're just kind of like just
water off a
munching.
duck's
because
back,
he's
man.
so hurt, because he's so disturbed that nothing that I can say can hurt him, or he hasn't said to himself 10 times worse, that he's such a damaged individual that there's nothing that I could do through this computer screen that could be worse than the hand that he was dealt from the Lord
He
above.
might have
I'm going to
far
sleep like a
less
baby,
views.
and I won't think about you at all, Alex. I want to let you know that.
You're going to be asleep alone.
He might
looking
have
at
far.
disgusting things. You're probably addicted
No,
to Lord
hey,
knows what,
stop.
first offender.
We're like, okay, no, he's not going to be looking at any sort of bestiality. We want.
I didn't say that.
Okay,
other
but
people
you
in the
thought
chat
it.
said it. I didn't.
No,
No,
we're
the
gonna
chat
go
was
with-
saying it. I was just reading the chat. They're the one calling him a pedophile.
Careful,
chat
careful.
was
That's
thinking that.
defamation, Alex.
I didn't say you were. I don't think you're a pedophile. I do not think you're a pedophile.
We
I do
want to
not
be
think
clear.
you're a
He's
pedophile.
not. He's not.
You're not a
Seriously,
pedophile. I
okay,
want to
we
be
have
clear.
back off
First
of this
offender
one.
is not a pedophile. He's never touched a kid. I know you just look at him, you might think that, but that is not the case. He's never touched a kid. He is not a pedophile.
This has absolutely
doesn't look
nothing to
like
do
it.
with the discussion, as
He
always.
doesn't.
Well, I
listen,
agree that you're not a pedophile.
just a
It's
stupid
just hard
ad
because
hom.
when you have no, it's not an ad hom.
first offender.
It's not an
No.
ad hom attack.
Can you just
Sorry.
Guys,
stay on
Alex,
topic?
stop.
I'm sorry. I want to apologize. I'm sorry.
Okay, first, I want to give First Amender credit. He comes here every time, and First Amender, you don't have to. There'd be no shame. He's come back so many times, even though people will like, you look like this, you look like that, and it always somehow boils down to like, First Amender, you look this way. Is it attacks on his appearance? I don't know why. I think it's just you have a way of you take this as a compliment, First Amender. You have a way of just triggering people. You just kind of sit there calm and they're just like trying to get under your skin, and that's why they just go harder and harder, because they're like, oh, that didn't get him pissed off. Now I've got to tell him he looks sick. But anyway, this one from Quickly says 2 men can't procreate, 2 women can't procreate. You need one of each. May biology prevail, First Amender.
Yeah, unfortunately, trans men and trans women can have kids. It is possible. Trans women can get a female pregnant, and it is also true that a trans man can get pregnant. So yeah, they could still procreate.
This one from Pepe in a blue suit says, the more concerning thing is that First Amender is advocating for gendered medical intervention with children.
Yes, he is.
Yes, because I argue in favor of the medical efficacy, and I use the Transgender Medical Association standards. Yep.
Yeah, but you know why they have those standards? Because in the application,
Research.
usually it's for
Research.
intersex children, where they do have to make a tough decision on whether
I
or not they
like
need to
I said,
affirm the
I
opposite
I
gender.
argue the WPATH
So-
standards, and that is on the basis of a
Yeah,
evidence-based
Boston Children's
treatment.
Hospital says that they like to diagnose a child with gender dysphoria because they have a lifelong patient. But what's funny with you is that
That's actually not the case. It actually would make them
that
more
is,
money
they
if
got
they
caught saying that. They got caught saying that they
all
like
right.
them because they have a
A doctor
lifelong
said
patient.
a thing somewhere. Yeah, the WPATH standards don't make those arguments.
This is the thing. Well, First Amendment. Do you think a child should be able to drink alcohol? Like, should a 14-year-old be able should a 14-year-old be able to drive a car?
No,
Okay, so why should a 14-year-old be able to cut off their penis?
I don't agree with that either. That's also not agreed in the WPATH standards.
We are going to do something, namely, we're going to do
Wait,
this.
do you wait, real quick? Well, answer. Do you believe that a child should get gender reassignment surgery? You do believe that, though, right?
I think that a child can undergo hormone blockers to be able to come to an educated decision, an informed decision as to whether or not they want to go with hormone replacement therapy. And then at that point, when they are 18, they can seek sex reassignment surgery or bottom surgery. This is not available.
So you don't think a
This is
kid
not
under
avail-
18 should get
this
surgery?
This is not available. Well, mastectomies are available, but not bottom surgery.
You think
It's
a
not
kid should
available.
get a mastectomy? You think a kid should be able to get a mastectomy?
Yeah, there's plenty of children that get
Oh.
mastectomies.
You're disgusting. You're sick.
I
You
mean,
need
there
to
are
really
there are
reevaluate-
there are
reevaluate a lot of
girls
things.
that grow up with very large breasts, so much so that it is debilitating. They will
cancer.
they will
Women that
get-
might have a genetic predisposition to cancer
Calm
might do it, but I'm talking about
down.
children.
Yeah,
because you're
that
talking
can
about
be a
big-breasted
child.
women. We're talking about children.
That can be a child, Alex.
Okay, it's not a bunch of big-breasted children getting mastectomies.
Okay,
This
but
is
that
people
happens,
that are trying
and
to
then there's
indoctrinate
also
children
there's
into a
also
gender
boys.
ideology that's
There's also
disgusting.
boys that when they go through puberty, sometimes have a condition which causes them to grow breasts during puberty, and because it doesn't
that
actually
would be
ma-
getting gender surgery to affirm that gender that they were their biological
Oh,
gender.
yeah, correct.
This one coming in from, do appreciate your question. Folks, we're at 9:65 still. So I got to take the hoodie off because we're under the 1.5 hour mark. We've only got 90 minutes. So less than 100 minutes left of this stream. And then it's done. And that was a huge part of the goal today, is for me to take off my clothes in front of everyone. Now, this next question coming in from Quickly, we got that one. This one from Quickly says, Alex is playing chess against a pigeon. He just can't win. Instead, just throw down some seeds and pack up, mate.
He's right. You can't. It's like arguing with somebody that just doesn't have, any sort of grasp of simple logic.
I mean, I'm throwing you the basic studies. I'm showing you evidence-based research, and your response this entire time was just ad homs. It had no basis in logic.
I showed you the studies, bud.
I never implied
I showed
that
you the
sex
study,
changes.
buddy.
It doesn't.
I showed you the study, buddy.
No, you showed me grok.
I showed you the study, buddy.
You showed me
one-
grok.
Buddy. I showed you, grok. AI smarter than your dumb ass, your sickle cell anemia, sick, lonely ass.
All right.
You
then
sound like a
we'll
really
go to the
funny
next
comedian.
question. This one coming in from, appreciate your question. Christopher Howard says, James, this is for some ibuprofen for the headache you just suffered. Don't worry. Oh, actually, they were referring to your guys' debate. But Gavin Free Nunn says, first offender needs to cease and desist with the sassy hand. Have you been doing the sassy hand?
Yeah, the way he's been eating those jelly beans, dude. I mean, he looks like a prisoner trying to find another, yard mate to take him into a cell and give him some, whatever they,
Don't
have his
threaten
back
me with a
out.
good time, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are gay, first offender.
I'm bisexual.
He's bisexual,
God.
so he's happy with.
Get me off this stream. I don't want to get AIDS on this stream. I don't want to get.
You have to
AIDS.
move to the
You
next
didn't tell me.
question.
I don't
Oh,
have
I got $100 super chat. Joshua Aguilar. Josh Aguilar.
No.
You will never get $100 super chat, you bitch first offender. You will never. In your thousands of
let's
years, you
move
can
on to
stream
the
for
next one.
1,000
I
million
hate to do
years.
this.
You will never get a $100 super chat.
Okay, I hate to do this, but we have to go to the next one. Thank you very much for your question. Don't worry, I have Alex on mute. Dylan Dishner says, James, did you used to eat food before bed? Yeah, I used to. I would say not right before bed, but 2 hours before maybe. That's probably, I usually will do that. Sometimes I would do it right before bed, but Bob 19922 says, the first amender guy makes me believe the blue whale has the second largest vagina. Okay, let's see. They think you have a large vagina. That's what they're trying to imply. But I know that you don't. I don't know for sure, but I suspect you don't. Quickly says, first amender is trans healthy. All right. Let's see this one from, listen, first amender is great. You know what I love? I love that first amender digs his heels in and he does not give you the fake kind of muted or turned down version of himself. He gives you his straight up views and he has got no apologies. And I like that. I think it's authentic, even though he might have everybody throwing their poop at him in the live chat. This one from Gavin Nunn says, imagine how sticky and gross his left hand is. Probably smells like a fisted walrus. Okay. Thank you for showing us first
Clean.
amendment.
I'm
That's
pretty clean.
disgusting. No bisexual can be clean. You're probably going to give some poor, nice lady, Lord knows what.
Cool.
Shield.
Casual homophobia. Sick.
Yeah, you freak me out. I can't imagine you on Grindr picking up Lord knows what, dude. Oh
This
my
one-
god.
I don't have any sexual. I don't have any STDs. I don't know what you're.
I don't know about
referring
your
to.
guys' Grindr app you've been hanging out on, but we.
I mean, to be fair, right? It's actually Republicans that often like to hide the fact that they are in fact more gay. It's actually homophobes have a higher probability of being gay. We've actually analyzed this. I can
We've
provide a study
analyzed
that
it.
shows
Who's
this.
we? The gay? Who is this? A bunch of homosexuals analyze this?
No, just scientists that happen to look at homophobic
Oh, you're a
Republicans that
scientist.
are
You're saying
ultimately
we,
really,
like you're
really
a
turned on
scientist.
by
Like
gay
you're a
people.
scientist. You work at T-Mobile. Okay,
They
you
also
work at a
they
kiosk
also
in the
they
mall.
also they
Okay.
also managed to crash Grinder in the Republican National Convention. Wasn't that fun?
Listen, this isn't a Grindr debate. I'm not here to talk about your favorite social
I mean,
media
you're the one
app,
that was
all
doing
right?
all of the insults the entire time. So, I mean, now you want to stick on topic? Wow.
Let's see. We're going to go to the next question, which is appreciate it. Dylan Dishner says first, gender bender. The President of the United States of America made an executive order stating, quote, there are only two genders, male and female. Read a book.
Yeah, I'm not even arguing the difference of these two genders. I mean, maybe there exists other genders. I don't think so. I've not observed any biology behind it other than like some sociological papers, which isn't really like I argue it on the basis of biology. So I'm willing to acknowledge that there are three genders, man, woman, and non-binary.
This one coming in from, do appreciate your question. It's from Dylan Dishner, who says, you will not outpale me. I am bioluminescent. Wow, that's pretty impressive. This one from
I just got another $100 super chat. First offender, you'll never get one of these. Sorry, go ahead, James. Sorry to interrupt.
This one from Eurovision WTF says, this is $10. Get a snack and go to sleep, James. I have a question for Alex. Thanks for your kind words. Says, if I change gender inside a PC game from a boy cat to a girl cat, will I then be a girl cat? W. Alex. How does that mean?
In Minecraft, you become a boy cat or a girl cat. Is that real? Do you really change? I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess in a simulation or a video game, you can do whatever you want. Yeah.
This one from Gavin Free Nunn says, a mender feels way too vindicated telling him to shut up as if anything he says is factual or in the realm of reality. Sorry, bro. You gotta wake up.
I mean, I'm the one
Thank
that
you.
presented studies. He gave me grok.
I
that
presented
doesn't.
studies.
That, by the way, I don't even disagree with the studies because all of those studies were referring to sex, not gender. I'm talking about gender and the existence of how it exists from to a morphological level, which is determined by biological determinism. You have to be able
It's
to
not
acknowledge
biological
that.
determinism. It is an XX or XY
Let's
chromosome
hear-
blood
let's hear
test
from
that
First
decides.
Amender.
That was all I had.
We will jump into the next question. Then this one coming in from Dylan Dishner strikes again, says First Amender. So you're checking everyone's brain scans to see who is a man or a woman?
Well, so there are male typical brains and female typical brains. No, we are not checking every single individual, but there are some very large findings that are able to observe morphological changes in the brain based on people who self-describe themselves as transgender. Overwhelmingly, these trans people had these morphological changes in the brain.
You got it. This one coming in from, do appreciate it. 1, 2, 3. This is Show Enough says, no matter what, in all caps. First Amender says he lost. Trans women are men. W for Alex. Any thoughts?
Thank you.
By sex, not by gender. Again, like I'm referring to trans women are women by gender, not by sex.
You got it. And thank you very much for your
You're the one that
question.
needs to use grok to figure this stuff out, and I'm just giving you actual studies, but okay.
I use AI for lots of stuff. What are you talking about? And first
Yeah,
of all,
because you
they
can't
filled
think.
up a bunch of studies. Oh,
This one
my
from
God.
Shown Off set. Oh, we got that one. Dylan Dishner strikes again. Says deciding to identify as a woman isn't a genetic anomaly. You're welcome.
But I can observe these genetic anomalies and how it happens at an embryonic stage.
Bullshit.
Again, I presented the studies that prove you otherwise. So whatever.
Says James, if you take your clothes off, which by the way, I will do it if we don't hit our goal of, we can totally hit our goal of $1,000 for today. We are so close. We're at 965. That's only.
And James, I'm not even trying to raise money, and I got over $200. 2 super chats from Josh Aguilar. I hope I'm saying that right. I feel bad. Thank you, Josh. Go support Modern Day Debate. The link is in the description. Sorry, James.
If you are a supporter of Alex Stein, it is true. Like, no joke. Like, we will be filming Alex Stein, as we've had him at like almost all of our debate cons. But also Uncensored America, like, we're co-owning these lenses with them. So like
so it helps me out. It helps me out if you guys help them out.
Exactly. Thank you. Now this one coming in from oh yeah, let me find this. So they said, if you take your clothes off, can you put them on First Amender? No, that's too weird. Mother Hulda says neuroplastics. Just look at him there, so deadpan. First Amender, I just love that you just super chill.
It's all just ad homs. There's no argument.
We talked about me taking my clothes off and putting them on you, and you're just totally deadpan. Just no action. Just I like it. Mother Hulda says neuroplasticity does produce morphological changes in brain structure. First Amender. Cleveland Clinic found this.
Yeah, I've already provided studies regarding the subcortical volumes of the brain. This is already confirmed. Again, this is not. These aren't disproven studies. They are that. We have observed these things, and we are learning more as we go along.
Wow.
You're actually retarded. You're actually retarded.
We can't. No more. We're not using the R word.
Okay, I apologize, but he is retarded then.
Let's call him soy-tarded. It'll be more acceptable on Twitch.
When you were born, did you have fetal alcohol syndrome? Did your mom drink when she was pregnant with you?
No, she didn't even have coffee when she was so concerned about anything affecting me that she went out of her way to not do anything like that. Yeah.
Sounds like a fun mom. Sounds like a fun mom. I see why you got a. I see. I love mine too, but I'm saying it seems like you got a good personality. Right, sounds like a real fun one.
We have to go to the next question. I want you to look at First Amendment. Folks, if you have to, go full screen on your little phones or your little laptops. I've got it on my little monitor. It's full screen. Why? What are you looking for if you go full screen? Is you will be able to see First Amender's vibrant blue eyes. Now that's healthy. You don't be unhealthy while not I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm pretty tired, I gotta be honest. We are at 633 likes. If you are enjoying this stream, hit that like button, give it a good spanking. It's or maybe just give it a little tap. We want to use it again. Don't break it. Just a little tap is good. Now, this next question coming in from Richie says, why is the self-deletion rate so high in trans people? And people often say it's due to social stigma, but if that's the case, why is the rate higher than the rate of Black folks during Jim Crow?
Yeah, because Black folks they did have their own communities to go to. A lot of the times trans people, they get pushed out by their family, their friends, their relatives. They will have entire families disown. When your entire social group just suddenly rejects you because of your identity, this obviously leads to suicidal ideation. Also, bigots like Alex Stein help.
This one from...
You're blaming me for suicide? Give me a break. I don't want you to ever hurt yourself. Nobody.
No, just hateful people. Like, you're one of them. I'm just saying you, among all the other hateful people. Yeah, hateful people do this, yes.
Well, this is the thing, is that the reason why their families are mad at them, though, because they realize the social stigma that is going to occur.
Yeah, you don't have to have the social stigma. You could just treat them as human beings.
You wouldn't
You're
let
the
an
one
anorexic person
perpetuating it.
continue to be anorexic.
You make money
If a person-
perpetuating this.
If a person had body dysmorphia and they're anorexic, you would tell them to eat. You wouldn't tell them to continue to not eat. So
That is a
shouldn't
different condition
enable
to
gender dysphoria. It's very similar
to gender
conditions.
dysphoria. Also,
It's a
there are
mental
trans
health.
people.
It's a mental health condition.
Yeah.
And
Also,
you don't treat a
also
mental health
trans people.
condition by
Also,
cutting off
not all
somebody's
trans
penis,
people have
so.
gender dysphoria. FYI, there are trans people that only get gender euphoria and not dysphoria, and euphoria would not actually be a mental health condition.
This one from, by the way, folks, we had just 35 people watching. So that's less than 10% of the folks watching put in just $1. We will hit our goal. And this one coming in from Even Lord says, has First Amender threatened someone again tonight? Not yet. I don't think so.
No, it was Alex Stein actually that said that he wanted to take a bomb or whatever weird thing that was.
No, I said
use the
you're
B
going
word.
to shoe bomb.
No,
I said you were going to
we
shoe.
can't talk
shoe.
about
Okay.
that. We can't talk about those things. Even Lord says, a question for both debaters. How do they feel about the word rejecting transgenderism and trans normalization? Also, most countries have it illegal.
I mean, this
Alex,
is just this is an ad populum argument. Like, why not actually use some logical reason? Not like, most people don't agree with this. It's just not logical.
Now, Alex, did you have something you wanted to add?
I was just talking about Julie, who gave a $20 super chat. So I was actually muting myself.
I've got to tell you, folks, we are going to host Alex Stein and use these cameras. Check out that link at the top of the description box. And the next question is coming in from Even Lord. So, a question for both debaters. We got that. Let me just check. I think we got more questions that just came in. Folks, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. It does help. We do appreciate it. We are at 633. I last checked. And it means more than you know, for real. 649 now. So thank you to the 15 people or so. What is it, 16 that hit like. Thanks for that support. Seriously, you 16 folks. And we can totally get to 700 likes by the end of the stream. Totally doable. This one coming in from Even, let me just double check that I got these questions. Mother Holda. I think this is a real girl. Like, 'cause sometimes men, and I'm not talking, this isn't a trans joke or anything. Sometimes like men, like heterosexual men like Alex will pretend to be women online. I don't know why.
I mean, people do that, but they're probably not a hetero if they're doing that. They're probably something. They're doing something.
I don't know.
If they're trying
I
to
think
trick
a lot
men
of
into
them-
sending dick pics or gay, though, I would say.
I think they're hetero a lot, but Mother Holda, I think, is a real mother, a real woman, not a man like you, Alex. They say the brain changes are due to social factors, not intrinsic.
Yeah, you can't change the subcortical volumes of your brain based on some social factor? No, that's genetic.
Now, I want to say, let's see. And Even Lord says, Alex Stein did not answer my question. They said, remember, so this is their question for both debaters. How do they feel about the world rejecting transgenderism and trans normalization? Also, most countries have it illegal.
Oh, what do I think about that? Africa, Nigeria, they don't have it, and they're probably better off for it, and they survive
Yeah,
COVID
everybody.
better than us.
We look at the best
And
countries
shut-
in the world, like Africa and Nigeria. Yeah, that's what we want to model after.
Why are you being
Africa and
racist? You
Nigeria.
don't like black people now?
No, I just want to strive for like a better society, and that we don't like push policies that are just regressive.
Yeah, they don't have a bunch of gay kids in Nigeria. It's good. Now
Yeah, they
freaking
kill 'em.
one out of every 2 kids identifies as being gay in this modern day era of American public school
In
system. So
Nigeria?
yeah, no, in Nigeria they're all straight. You're not allowed to be gay. They'll throw you.
Yeah,
off the
they'll kill
building.
you.
Really?
That's why. Yeah, and then we're gonna pretend that they're not.
What
gay
about
because they don't
Palestine?
come
You
out
like
as gay.
Palestine? You like Palestine, don't you, First Offender?
I think that we shouldn't be murdering Palestinians. If that means that I like an extremist Muslim for being anti-gay, no. Like, I don't believe
Do you
in
think it's
Sharia
cool?
law.
Do you think it's cool when they? Do you think it's cool when they throw gay people off roofs?
No, I don't. I don't think that's cool at all. No, I don't like
Alex
Islam. I don't like any
Stein
religion.
Is definitely pro-Israel. Aren't you, Mr. Stein?
Cool.
All right. This one
Hateful
coming in
and
from-
pro-genocide. Cool. He's ticking all the boxes. You're a great representation of the right, Alex. You are.
I'm not even going to. I'm a
I
good
just love-
representation.
Oh yeah.
First of all, I'm not a role model. I'm my own thing, dog. I'm
Yeah, I
like,
can tell.
you know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like new Coke.
I can
or whatever.
tell.
I'm different. I'm the new conservative. I'm the pimp on a blimp conservatism, dog.
Yeah, you're the hate
You could
conservative.
never be like this. Hate? I only hate your dumb ass, dude. I love everybody else. I love the people. I love my transgender people. I just don't want them peeing next to my girlfriend at the damn concert or, you know, City Hall. That's what I don't want. I don't want some guy, some man in a dress taking a big dump next to my girlfriend, trying to look through the keyhole, trying to film it and post it on Pornhub so freaks like you can get their rocks off.
Oh, bro, don't threaten me with a good time. Why do you keep doing that?
Exactly right.
You
Shout out
sound
to
really
Poppy
into
for
it.
50
Before we
bucks.
talk
Thank
about-
you, 50 bucks.
Before we talk about
He's the
First
one bringing it all up, not
Amender,
me.
This one from Even Lord says, should we make men that fail their social role into eunuchs, like Varys from Game of Thrones, or block their ability to reproduce?
Like, are you asking if people should be I don't understand the question.
Like if they don't
Let's
have enough
say that-
masculine traits, should they just cut off their penis? Because they're obviously just a woman.
I think that like if you have ownership over your own body, you can do it as you do with your body as you see fit, provided that you are not harming other people in that aspect. That's kind of what I would argue. And so if somebody wanted to say have bottom surgery, you know, and you're 18, you're a consenting adult, I don't care. Like that's
Will you agree that children shouldn't get transgender surgery, so you're not that libtarded?
Well, I've talked about mastectomies and why it is okay in that
Well, that's
instance.
libtarded as hell, and that's disgusting. You want a bunch of children cut off their
I
tits.
mean,
Oh,
even
yeah,
you
you're a
would
perv.
argue that if like Alex, what if you started going through puberty and you started growing breasts? Do you think that you should get surgery to get rid of that?
I don't know any kids that got gyno, but I know people as adults. I know a male guy that actually went to college with.
Let me ask you one more time, Alex. If you started growing breasts, do you think you should be able to have those removed?
Yes, but for the opposite
Thank
reason
you.
of you, because
That's
it's
it.
no, because it's unnatural. No, this is why, because it's unnatural for a man to have breasts. Because I
Great,
don't want to live
amazing.
in a world where
So
men
you're
have
okay
breasts,
with
so we have to cut off their
mastectomies for
women's breasts.
children. Thank you.
No,
Jesus.
I'm not. Not in the same application that you are. So let's not. And mine are for men that have
Yeah, you're
gynoplasty.
taking a surgery
not
that
girls
aligns
wanna
with your
become a boy.
gender, right? Your perceived gender.
Wait, okay. The surgery's okay, but in the application that we're talking about, gender reassignment surgery, I'm not okay with a mastectomy. I,
So if a
I don't think
child
one
has
biological
gender
of a female should
dysphoria,
ever
I'm
get their
perfectly
breasts cut
okay
off. But
with
a boy can get his
mastectomy.
breast cut off. A boy, yes, to affirm his male
Yeah.
gender, yes.
This one coming in from, do appreciate your question. Even Lord says, is hating evil and evil people a bad thing? If you hate evil and evil people, is this a bad thing?
No. I dislike Alex Stein and people like him quite greatly. I find them detestable human beings. Like they're like bridge trolls or troglodytes. They like to argue hate, and they spread their hate, and other people join in on the hate. And I find it disgusting. I really do. I mean, I honestly, like, if I was Alex Stein, I don't think I would be able to sleep at night with all of the hate rhetoric that I give out. I would just, I don't
What
know.
hate rhetoric are you talking about? I don't spread any hate. Like I literally spread no hate. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like,
Okay.
I spread hate. What are you talking about?
Or I don't know.
What hate
Maybe
do
it's
I
just
spread?
a lack
Well,
of
give an
self-awareness.
Well, give an example of hate that I spread by saying that a
You
trans
literally
person's
spent
not
this
a
entire
woman.
time saying trans women aren't women, and you decided to be derogatory towards them, even though I've shown you studies how it exists at a biologically determined level. And you even argued in favor of a genocide among Palestinians. So yes, you make money by being hateful towards people, and you spread that hate.
I wish I could answer that, but you're biologically retarded and not even worth
You
it.
perpetuate ignorance. You make the world a worse place.
You're the one that's ignorant. You think that a boy can
No,
cut off
I've
their
very
penis
well
and become a
read on
girl.
these
So
topics.
you're the ignorant one. So.
This one coming in from, do appreciate your question. Gavin, free, none, says, Amender, don't think nobody has peeped your stress eating. Go ahead and stop all that before I write
I
it.
like jelly beans. What do you want? They're fun.
No, you're stress eating, and you're talking about troglodytes. You literally look like a gremlin eating those. Like you haven't even eaten real
He
food
looks
in
like a
months or
handsome
years.
young man. Now
He
it
looks
says go ahead.
pre-diabetic.
Says go ahead and stop all that before I write a twit longer on your ass and cancel you.
I don't know
Okay.
what that means.
Dylan Dishner says, congrats on the W, Alex. Please do me a favor and yell, quote, Zeep sends those rockets to the moon, boys. Thanks. If yes.
Oh God, what is this? Some crypto thing? What is this? Some crypto thing? I'm not doing this crypto scam. I'm not doing this shit. I'm not. Thank you for the donation. I'm not doing a bunch of crypto bullshit.
I thought Zeep was maybe like a slang for like BB or maybe.
You guys are trying to give me like Hop Tua. No, they want to give me clip me out saying Veep coin or some bullshit like that. And then they're going to rug pull it and try to freaking get me canceled. No, I don't endorse any of that cryptocurrency shit, bullshit, altcoins. Fuck off. But thank you for the super chat.
Juicy. This one coming in from, do appreciate your question. Mike Alvarado TBE says, hey, James, have you replied to Manar about a potential First Amender versus Manar reports debate on Islam versus secularism? This would be a great debate. I
would
don't know
love
if I
that
have
debate, by the way.
responded.
I know Manar. That would be a good debate.
Is he a Muslim?
Yes.
And is he a real Muslim, or is he kind of like the effeminate, like, where they like
don't-
back down from a lot of the positions they try to like make
I
their
don't
position
I
more
don't know.
appealing
You would
the
have to
North?
I
ask
just
them
got
that
another
question.
$50 super chat. I just got another $50 super chat while you losers were sitting there arguing about Lord knows what. Sorry.
This one coming in from, what was it? Mother Holda says males. Oh yeah. Anyway, Manar reports he's like a legit Muslim. Like he's not like gonna try to like be more palatable for like normies. Like he'll just dig his heels in and be like, yeah, like apostates should be.
I would ask him. I don't know. I would just email him. I'm not sure how far he would go.
Okay. Mother Holda says males don't need surgery to fix gyno, namely man breasts, and mastectomies on girls increase cancer risk and make breastfeeding any future children impossible. Okay, so let me read that again because I put the commas in the wrong place. Males don't need surgery to fix gynomastia. In other words, males don't need surgery to fix their man boobs. And then they said also on a separate note, mastectomies on girls, namely removing breasts, tends to increase cancer risk and make breastfeeding impossible in the future. First Amender.
Yeah. So if you're a teenager and you're a boy and you start growing breasts, if you think that is not going to have any negative social repercussions, maybe you just don't remember ever being a teenager ever. That would absolutely be horrendous for a child to go through. It would actually, I would actually say borderline would be like a horrendous thing to force a child to go through that when that is not their gender identity. And you're talking about like whether or not it increases risk. Yeah, yes. That's any surgery has inherent risk tied to it. I think that needs to be a discussion between the doctor and the patient and the parent in the case of them being a minor. And that just needs to be a discussion. Yeah, I know it's really hard to I know it's not like a TikTok feed for like jingly keys. I got it. Yeah.
I mean, how boring can you be?
Well, I'm just pointing out the
boring
facts.
Olympics.
I'm just pointing
Shout
out the facts.
$50, Josh Aguiar. Thank you, Josh. Over $250 in super chats. You'll never get that because you're so boring.
I mean, I was donated $40 like in one shot yesterday. So, I mean, like obviously I don't make as much as you. Sure. Fair enough.
It's not
You
a
got
competition.
giant
It's not about the
audience.
money. It's not about the money. It's not about the money. I'm not here to brag about money. What I'm here to brag about
Then
is
why
that
are you
you're
bringing
such
it
a
up?
boring loser. Because I just want to shout out Josh. I'm really not trying to rub it in your face. It's not about the money. Everybody starts somewhere. But what it is about is that you're so boring. I want to go to sleep.
We'll
Yeah,
jump
I
to the
know.
next
I'll give you some jingly keys so that way you can pay attention, Alex. Okay.
This one coming in from, do appreciate it. Should America have done a government change war on Iran during the war on fear?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't answer that because I don't know. I don't know what they're referring to. Apologies.
I think they mean like that would have been a good chance to like take a preventative measure against Iran so that we could have like a kind of a stronger power position against Iran now.
I mean, the fact is that Donald Trump decided to pull out in 2017 regarding the nuclear deal with Iran. And so obviously the very next step was Iran was going to build up their nuclear program. Donald Trump had self-created the problem and now he has to solve it. So I don't know. It's just like an idiot that like poops in his pants and then he cleans the poop from his pants and he's like, all right, I fixed it, everybody. It's just like
you think Trump's the guy that poops in his pants, considering Joe Biden literally using AutoPan for the past 4 years? You think Trump's the one that has trouble with?
He's old too. I agree with you. And by the way, that wasn't even arguing whether or not he poops in his pants or not. Yeah, I know it's really hard.
I wasn't listening because it's so boring. You're so boring, and you're such. It's just hard to look at the screen because it makes me physically ill. Like literally, I'm fighting nausea. I want to like throw up every time I look at you because you're just so gray. I mean, it's just. And the fact that you're in your 30s, you've never had puberty. You never went through puberty. You probably don't even have armpit hair.
You had a tremendous puberty. Now we're going to go to the next question. Want to say, folks, I have a big announcement. We hit our goal for today of $1,000. So thank you so much,
Let's
you guys.
Go.
I don't have to take my clothes off anymore. We finally hit it. So thank you so much. Seriously, it means more than you know. We have hit 29% of the way of our goal. We don't expect to make it to, 100% in one day. I expected that we were going to. So I want to say, Joshua Stanley, thanks for your huge donation to get us over that mark. And then thank you from Anonymous. Thank you from Todd Mackey, Timothy Cosme, Joshua Stanley, Cameron Poluski. Let me know if I'm saying it right. James Clark, thank you so much. Alex Stein, thanks for your donation as well. He did that earlier today, approximately 5 hours ago. Seth Jolly, thanks so much. Sam McLaren and Nicola, am I saying it right? And Moshi and Corey and Dennis Melendez Jr., thank you guys for your support. Brian Carnes, Inbal Katz, Ridvan, Isa, and Anonymous. Thank you for all of your donations, you guys, for real. It means more than you know. We are determined. So these lenses, 2 seconds, that you can see at the bottom of your screen.
Shout out Shamgar in the chat. Oh, okay, sorry to interrupt you. I should have muted myself. Sorry, James.
No problem. This lens that you see at the bottom right of your screen, we just hit our goal for today, which is we have enough to where we can buy our first lens. So thank you so much. We will be buying that, and we're going to be using it at this upcoming debate.
Congrats.
Apostate Prophet and Andrew Wilson. So thank you guys for your support. We have more questions. Don't worry, First Amender. I know you're wanting more battle. You love the battle. It's like,
sure do.
You just get off to it. You're sick. But we're gonna just give me 1 sec. Is that he's a nasty guy, just getting off over there. But I'm kidding. He's not a nasty guy. I just loved it. There's something fun. Like I think it's like I said. It's just because you're so deadpan. Like you just sit there and you don't react. There's something about it. I don't know, but I just hope you know, First Amender, I appreciate it. We probably disagree on everything.
James, it's like debating a person on hospice.
I mean, James, you threw me into like probably one of the most like nastiest debates ever with Andrew Wilson. And like ever since then I've been like working on like just hardening, right? And just trying to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row, I guess. So
are you on antidepressants? Do you take antidepressants, SSRIs?
No, I don't take any SSRIs.
This one from Mother?
Nothing. I don't take anything.
I don't believe that.
I'm
cocaine?
Healthy. I don't take cocaine. No heroin.
Mother Holda says gynomastia is a hormone and weight issue. So in other words, like if Alex has man boobs, which he might, we don't know that he doesn't.
Not right now. I've lost some weight. I'm going to lose some more. I'm going to get rid of them.
It's actually because of an imbalance of estrogen and testosterone levels. And there are men that have gynecomastia, and I would hate to force a teenager to have to go through their teenage years with breasts. I mean, it's very embarrassing.
Next up, they say dietary changes and exercise reverse gyno or man boobs.
Not necessarily.
Then it says testosterone increases with exercise.
Yes, exercise does help. Believe it or not, I go to the gym 4 times a week. I do. I know it doesn't.
Don't believe it. Bullshit.
I do.
Wow.
You
I do.
look like you're on hospice right now.
I
okay?
have.
Let me see.
No, this isn't necessary. No.
I have an
okay,
otter body.
Stop. Keep your shirt on. Okay.
Just
thank
FYI.
First
I have
remember,
abs
you're-
too, just FYI.
you. No, no.
Do you have
don't
abs,
need-
Alex?
Yeah, I
No.
do. Yeah, mine are covered by a little bit of healthy,
Fat.
padding.
Fat.
Listen, you're a gay twink, all right? I'm not going to sit here and take it for some homosexual pervert first offender over here. You've never even been with a person, never even felt the touch of another human being sitting there like a hospice patient, all greasy, eating
I mean,
jelly
you're the
beans.
one saying
not
that
gonna
I'm
sit
the
here and
gross
do it.
one, right? But I'm looking good, dude. I'm feeling fine.
You don't look good. You look like shit, dude. You look literally like a retard, okay? So I don't even want to do this right now. Let's go.
No, we don't use the R word.
I always
Not
have
what we
these
should
bottles
do.
of Republican tears. They're
Not
really
what we-
tasty.
It's not what we say when First Amenders here.
Those aren't
We-
tears. That's something
God, you're
else.
so
You know what I
mad.
mean?
What
That's
a
Republican.
baby.
Republican. You know what? I'm not mad at all. I'm really
Oh,
not mad at all.
nasty.
I just
Okay.
when I deal with gay twinks like you, it just I can only deal with it so much. My tolerance level is only so high.
I have a couple of things. First, we have a new question, and I've got to tell you, folks, thanks so much again for your support. We are at, in terms of likes, we went from 667 to now we are at 681. So 4 more likes. Thanks so much. Folks, we appreciate it. We're going to get to 700 likes. We appreciate your support of the stream. This next one coming in from Isa Kabir says, how you doing tonight, Killer Suit Alex? Colorful First Amender. I think they mean your background.
Thank
But
you.
maybe your blue eyes. I don't know.
Shout out Issa. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Wait a minute. I just noticed. Yeah, I got to be honest. I used to be like, ugh, Issa. But now I'm kind of like, you know what? He's been a huge supporter of modern day debate. So I'm no longer like, ugh. I'm kind of like, you know what? Okay. All right, Issa. I'm still going to make fun of you a little from time to time out of love. It's my love language. Now, the question that I had for you, First Amender, you have that background from Zoom, I assume. That's like one of the options. And my guess is that, are those the trans colors on purpose? Is that what Zoom
Yeah,
had
yeah,
in
those
mind?
are that's a trans heart, but it's just a GIF. Like I use OBS to do it.
Oh. But yeah, the colors remind me of like the Valentines of like Looney Tunes, you know, like they're just kind of
yeah,
like soft.
I've gotten people say
gentle.
it's like Powerpuff Girls. That's a great show, by the way.
You like that, don't you?
You like children's cartoons, First Offender, huh? I'm not surprised.
I don't
not
think you should-
surprised that you love little girls' cartoons.
I don't think
Ooh,
that you
I'm
should-
shocked. Ooh, I'm shocked. Ooh, I would have
I
never
don't-
thought
I
First
don't think-
Offender like little children's cartoons that he can watch all day, even though he's in his 30s watching Powerpuff Girls. That's not weird at all. That's
I just
totally
don't
normal.
think that like if you're like an adult that you ever grow out of things that you can genuinely enjoy, and I do
Okay,
like
you're
cartoons
a retard.
I grew up
when,
with.
When you're an adult, you grow out of a lot of cartoons. You know, I used to love Batman too. I don't still watch Batman. I don't still watch.
Okay, so
X-Men
you watch cartoons like
When I was a
one
little
from-
kid, I wasn't watching My Little
liked-
Pony or Powderpuff Girls
Powerpuff
like a
Girls
total
was- it was good
homosexual.
for
But I keep
boys and
forgetting.
girls.
I keep forgetting that you're an actual twink homosexual. That's what I keep forgetting.
Thank you.
Shout
for your
out Blake
question.
Nunn Drums, $10 super
cool
chat.
blatant homophobia. Man, I bet you sell out those shows with the blatant homophobia.
Nick H says James.
And I do
Matt-
have a big show in Vegas, April 27th, Wise Guys Comedy Club.
I feel
Chat
sorry
Rap
for
Meetup.
everybody that likes you.
It's going to be insane. It's going to
They
be
are
so much fun.
victims
We're
of a
going to be
system.
gambling, dancing. Listen, you're the victim of probably you're having your beehole, bashed in by, some Filipino guy that you met on
Don't threaten
Grindr.
me
So
with
listen,
a
don't
good
talk about
time, Alex
victimism.
Stein.
Don't talk about victimism.
You could be
okay? You're
that
the one
Filipino. You
you're the
keep
one that
talking
has to
about
wear a
my
diaper
sexuality
because
with a great
you have
deal
a
of
leaky
interest of
anus.
that.
Alex, because you're half Jewish and half Latino, right, Alex? No? Okay. Just don't say anything if that's true. Next question. This one from Nick H. Oh, he says Manar is cool. He's a MAGA Muslim debater. Yeah, as long as he's not like one of the effeminate Muslims. Like we want the ones that dig their heels in and they just say, "Hey, yeah, I think we should throw them off roofs." Not because I like those views, But because it's like at least they're like biting the bullet, right? It's kind of like we don't want Christians who are like the example, like as an analogy is like if someone's like, oh yeah, well I believe in the New Testament but not the Old Testament. It's like just bite the bullet and defend all of it. Enough of this wimpy like trying to placate or be polite or like these. This one coming in from Even Lord says, based Alex crash out. You make me laugh healthily. Alex, we can't hear you. Are you muted?
Yeah, he's muted.
Sorry, I was celebrating another huge super chat. $5, Blake Nundrums. I think he's over $50 tonight. Your only retort is, I'm a homophobe. I was raised by a gay aunt, you twink. Okay, listen. What was the question? I don't even know what the question was, but last one. I am based. I'm a based badass, and I hope that I turned you into a man today. You started off as a little boy, first offender, and now you're finally a man after you danced with the devil named Primetime.
Now,
99.
Alex's
Stein.
manly love made you into a man today, First Amendment.
I man loved you from a boy to a man. How did you like that? Did that feel good? Did that feel good, first offender?
I don't know why you keep pushing your fetish on me.
Does that feel
I don't find you
good?
good-looking.
Does that feel good? How does your colon feel? Tickled and good? I bet it feels real nice, doesn't it, first offender? Real nice.
All right, we'll go to the next one. Even Lord says, genuine question. What are your thoughts on My Little Pony Generation 5?
I never got into the show. I don't really like it. But
Come on,
no, I
really?
wanted to share something real quick. I just wanted to share something for the audience. I think this is a fun study. I think everybody should be aware of this. Is homophobia associated with homosexual arousal? It turns out we looked at the participants consisted of a group of homophobic men.
I love how you keep
and a
saying
group of
we, like you're a
non-homophobic
scientist
men. Hey, can you
doing
mute
this
him for a
study.
second? This won't take long.
No, nobody's
Participants
being muted.
consisted of a group of homophobic men and non-homophobic men. They were assigned to groups on basis of their scores in the index of homophobia. The men were exposed to sexually explicit erotic stimuli consisting of a heterosexual, male, homosexual, and lesbian videotapes, and changes in penile circumference were monitored. They also completed an aggression questionnaire. Both groups exhibited increases in penile circumference to the heterosexual and female homosexual videos. Only the homophobic men showed an increase in penile erection to male homosexual stimuli. The groups did not differ in aggression. Homophobia is apparently associated with homosexual arousal that the homophobic individual is either unaware of or denies. I hope you like that.
You're an actual retard. You're an actual retard.
I mean, it's you projecting.
I mean, who did
It's
that
not
study?
me projecting, it's you.
Gayuniversity.com, homosexualuniversity.com.
Look at him crash out. He can't handle it.
I'm not crashing out, but you're
crashing out right now.
Every person that's homophobic is gay. You're a retard. You're a retard.
This one coming in. Do appreciate your question. Here we go. Go. Oh yeah, Alex, you didn't answer. Do you like My Little Pony? A little bit?
No, would never watch that. I have no idea basically what it is other than bronies that I've seen being made fun of online. But of course, that twink over there freaking loves it, that pervert.
I told you I wasn't into the show, but okay.
But you know all about My Little Pony because you're still watching cartoons.
I mean, I've heard
as a man in
people
your 30s.
talk about My Little. I never even watched the show. Like, it's just not something I'm interested in.
I doubt it. You're a brony.
I'm being honest with you, bro. I'm being entirely honest.
You haven't been honest one time. You
poll.
need to look in the mirror and really figure out if you're going to be honest to yourself. That's what matters.
Yep.
We have. Wait, I'm gonna try this out, folks. We're gonna do like a. Oh, okay. I've never done this. We're like doing a super chat goal because one thing you guys do, folks watching, you love super chats. I try to tell you like, hey, if you put in a donation of $5 with the GoFundMe, we'll read any chat. Just let us know, like, oh yeah, that was me that just put the donation in, and we'll read no matter how long. It can be like 250 characters, which normally you'd have to pay like $100 or something on YouTube for that many characters in a super chat. We will read it, but everybody, nonetheless, people just love this, super chat feature. And share how we will celebrate. I'm going to do this because I'm just kind of curious how it works. Share how you'll celebrate. What will we do? Okay, I'll show the subway tattoo. I found an excuse to take my shirt off. I'll show. Okay, I know what. First Amender, that's the first time I've seen you smile all stream. I'll show you the subway tattoo. Such a nasty guy. He loves Subway. He loves those footlongs as start the goal. And
What is this?
so that's the first time I've accused audience or a guest of being gay and in particular liking footlongs. But I do want to say, folks, don't feel pressured. I'm just kind of curious to see how this works. Like, cool if you want to throw in a super chat. We are what is the goal? I can't remember what the goal is for the super chat. Oh, 10. They get 10 teal super chats. Teal is like the bright green. But I do want to say we're going to be here for another 30 minutes no matter what, because I'm going to do a 12-hour stream, even if we run out of questions for the Q&A here, which we actually look like we are running out of questions. That's why I did that super chat thing. I'm going to do this because I promised a 12-hour stream, and I'm going to damn well deliver on it, even if I'm slurring my words because I'm so tired, which I am. What are your guys' thoughts? Any you want to draw together the threads from this debate? Any last thoughts? Any parting words? Because we've run out of questions.
Well, this debate, first offender, even though you're a disgusting pervert and you're one of the lowest and loneliest human beings I've ever dealt with, you're not that bad a guy. It was out of a good time.
Okay, Steinreck.
Wow. Look at these guys. They're friends. You guys.
Total
Now,
crash out.
first-
Total train wreck. Steinreck.
What are you talking? Steinreck. I kind of like that.
Steinreck.
Listen, I am the king of crash out. Have you never seen me crash out at a city council? I'm literally the king of crash out.
I see.
I'm the crash out king. You wish you could crash out like me, dog.
I don't
you
want
wish
to
you had
crash
the
out like
swag.
you. I want to actually have
Do
a
you-
real
but-
argument.
Okay, first of all, my arguments are actually real because mine are based with science and biology. Your
They're
arguments
really
are
not.
like retarded fantasy. Like yours is like
Yeah, like
Narnia, Lion, Mouse, and the
endocrinology.
Wardrobe.
Yeah, it's really stupid science. What
okay,
that stupid pooped endocrinology? What is this dumb duh? Like it's literally brain rot.
Well,
Your
stick
content
genitals in
is
a place
brain
where
rot, and people who
poop.
like you are brain rotted.
Oh, brain rot.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's total
okay.
brain rot. Yeah, it's literally
And-
like
and-
sub
and your
100
content is
IQ
what?
arguments.
Oh, your content is so thought provoking. You sitting behind.
I mean,
that
I
weird
provide
trans thing,
studies and
looking
actual
like a gay
arguments.
twink.
Maybe you should try that.
Yeah, it's sad though the fact that you think you're helping society by trying to use these weird studies to try to push your narrative.
They're not
is
weird
absolutely
studies. I
disgusting.
just pointed
because
out
they're not even
basic
meta. It's not
meta-analytic
even
findings.
meta-analysis though. It's just like one
I
random
listed
little
a
study with, like-
meta-analysis.
yeah. Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I
a
did.
retard, so.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, this has been a fun debate. Thank you for having me, James. Everybody support Modern Day Debate, and everybody go support that twink over there with the blown out beehole. Thank you for having me, James.
Why is he so
Thank you.
fascinated with my butthole?
I don't know.
Because everything about you is gay. That's your whole personality. That's your background. Everything about it is the fact that you're gay and that you're lonely.
I think you're
that
projecting,
sitting
Alex.
there. Okay. All right. Yeah,
I'm
of course,
tired. Thank you guys. We're gonna let Alex go. Alex, go ahead and you can let your. Well, we got one last question. Bonely
Okay.
says, "How can your argument be that because you look like something, you are something? Halloween must be confusing."
Yeah, I'm not talking about becoming Frozen or Elsa from Frozen or something. I'm talking about something that exists on a basis of biological determinism. Those are not the same thing.
This one from
Biological determinism is not real. I just want you to know that. That's not a real thing.
I'm sorry, is your hair color biologically determined? What about your eyes? That's one
You
of
don't
the
get to just determine
that's actually
your
the
biology.
dumbest
You don't
thing
get to
you've said this
determine-
entire debate.
You don't get to determine your biology, dude. I'm sorry.
Do you know what biological determinism is, Alex?
I know exactly what it is, and I know that you're an actual.
Then you wouldn't
and I don't wanna
say
say it.
something
I don't wanna
that's
say it.
stupid if you knew what it was.
It's not that, dude. You're the one that literally thinks that a person can cut off their penis and become the opposite sex. So don't call me a stupid.
I didn't
You're
say
the
anything
retard.
regarding that.
You're the one that's so
I didn't
dumb
say that
you
at
even
all.
admit that biologically a
Yeah.
boy and a girl are
Yeah.
provably different.
Right?
You
It's
admit
where
that.
your traits and
admit
behaviors are
that.
determined by biological factors such as your genes or physiology rather than environmental or social influences. There are absolutely things in the body that are biologically determined, and that would also include trans people. That's very common.
Oh, you're just.
This one-
I can't deal with this retard any longer. How many more questions do we have, James?
That's actually it. So if you want to take off, that we haven't had any new questions come in since you guys were insulting each other. This one
See you
is-
guys.
Call me
Goodbye.
Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, thank you guys. I mean, oh my gosh, what a fucking loser.
I mean, you're the one projecting, not me.
Wow. You have chemistry. You guys are good pals. Now, why is everyone in the chat saying I'm gay with First Amender? You guys are weird. Everyone's accusing everyone of being very gay.
As if it's a bad thing.
First Amender is he's half gay because he's bisexual. And but I tell you, if I was gay or even if I was bisexual, I would have told, like I would have milked it, because in the graduate programs admissions, like I think that would have helped me in my applications. And you know, so if I was gay, I would have put it on there, but I don't have any gayness. I certainly recognize when a man is good looking. You know who I wish I could look like? Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones. Now that guy, like, just wow, good for him. That jaw, like everything.
Yeah. There you go.
But that's, like I said, that's like I wish I looked like that. Not that I want to have relations with him like First Amender might. Now Blake says, why does modern day debate keep allowing First Amender on the show? He's lost every debate he's had on this subject, and that's never going to change. What? No, come on.
If you think that him crashing out and not coming up with any arguments and just doing ad homs and then just perpetually insulting me the entire time while I'm presenting study after study after study and he has to use grok to give his ideas, I don't know what you think winning looks like.
Man, I don't know. And they say, I thought soy tard was pretty good. Thank you. I am going to copyright that. That's mine. So you can use it in the Modern Day Debate live chat, but that's the only place. So I'm going to trademark that tomorrow. And next up on Easter. Andrew something or other says First Amender who was John Money. Oh, come on. You ask this every time. This is old news.
Yeah, I mean the
Okay,
John
so there
Money
is a
thing, it's
poll.
obviously a lot older than there's other instances of hormonal research prior to John Money. Like, what do you want? Like, he wasn't the first.
Oh, wait. You know what? Hey, hold on. You say James needs to stand a hair to his left. Like stage left? My left. So stage right. Nick H says, First Amender won this debate. Alex just has a lot of followers. LOL. Crashing out and ad homs don't win debates. Wow. You have a fan, First Amender.
Thank you.
I mean,
If
I
you
think we
liked
know
my
that's your-
debates, by the way, just consider subscribing to my channel. I'm very, very tiny. So even one subscriber is huge. Like, I'm very small, but I'm building up. It's growing.
Let's see. This coming in from Blake the ITV says, it certainly doesn't look like you, First Offender. I don't get it. What doesn't look like him? This one from Iron Horse says, oh, come on, James. All those high heel, short skirt shots you share on OnlyFans can't be just for the money. I actually do not have a, thinking of a clever name that I could call it. Could we use the word debate and like mix that with OnlyFans? Like only debates. I like that. Kind of sexy. This one is, I do want to say thank you so much. We've hit $1,005 for the goal for the crowd fund. Tutgoo says James looks like Toy Story Bully. Don't know who that is.
Sid.
Bro.
I think he's talking about Sid.
Iron Horse, I think that your son, First Amender, had a lively debate tonight. Nobody can deny that. And what I'm going to do is refresh the page. We are close to having 700, what is it called? Likes. 694. So we're only 6 likes away, for real. You guys, it's like we could totally do this. Please do help us with just 6 more likes. That gets us to the 700 mark. And that's not too shabby. But also, what I'm looking at for stats for this live stream, because you guys might get a kick out of this, because it's like we're in the last half hour of a 12-hour live stream. Because we're hardcore here. That's how we roll at Modern Day Debate. That's just, we go to the beat of our own drum. And, oh, my clock is so sore. So this is not without a cost. I'm okay, though, I promise. Like, it's worth it. The joy I've gotten from this stream, it totally outweighs the pain in my back. Is our our watch time. It's got analytics here. Average view duration was 17 minutes, which is quite bad for a 12-hour stream. That's terrible for a 12-hour stream. But it's not your fault, First Amender. Let's see. Wait a minute, why are you guys saying I was flirting with what is it called? First Amender. There definitely wasn't any flirting. You guys gotta knock that off. Is that
I'm telling you, man, it's projection. These Republicans. That's why the Grindr app crashed at the Republican National Convention last year. It's all projection.
I don't understand. But yeah. Ouch, my back. Okay. But yeah. So says James is not really like this. I don't know. What do you mean I'm not really like this? Well, like I'm like this all the time. How am I not? What am I not usually like that I am like right now? This says James is like, I don't care about your foam roller. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing that. Like that's kind of Andrew says, dude's just gonna let him scoot past my question. Andrew, I don't even remember your question. But yeah, okay, other analytics. Chat rate is down to 12. This started pretty high earlier today. But that was because we started with that controversial. I'm trying to like push back against the idea that he looks like he's a corpse. I'm trying to defend this guy because you guys, it's like, come on, take it easy on this guy. Like we do appreciate, even though I disagree with him on virtually everything, I do admire that he does show up. Like he's not a punk in the sense that most people, if they got like shit like this, most people would not come back. I mean, First Amender had like one time, I can't remember, there was a girl, I can't remember who it was, but she was like, oh, you're ugly, and like no women want you. It was just brutal. It was like, wow, this is kind of mean. Even for me, having seen a lot on Modern Day Debate, like one time a guy told another guy that his wife was ugly. But this was pretty bad where I was like, oh man, like that's and yeah, a lot of times they just want to attack him. They're like, yeah, you look like you're dead or whatever. So I'm trying to defend my boy here because I think
I don't know. I gotta upgrade my camera. Like seriously, it really is the contrast. Like if you just look, like my skin color changes based on like it's weird. I have to get a better camera.